Oh,
Hi,
is
Saneika. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right.
we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you loud and so. This is Saneika, which you are Kei'mani's aunt, correct?
Yes.
Hi,
All right.
Sanika.
So I had reached out to Kei'mani's aunt the other day, just basically to send my condolences. Um, and then, everything we're hearing, really isn't based on Kei'mani. Everything we're hearing is based on um, the person who took Kei'mani. And I wanted to know more about Kei'mani. So I asked you if you would come up here, and you said you would to let us know about Kei'mani. I do have a couple questions for you, um, if that's okay, before you tell us about Kei'mani. And if you don't want to answer them, just let me know, I guess.
Okay.
Would that be all right?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
And so sorry for your loss, and I know she's in heaven now, but I know it was her birthday yesterday as well. So prayers to you and your family, Sanika. Just want to say.
Thank you.
So, Sanika, this is Sunny. I go live with her a lot on her channel, and she has graciously accepted to go live with me tonight on this one, although we're 20 minutes in and I feel like I'm having a lot of technical difficulties. So I apologize. Hopefully, whoever's watching it back can just skip to this part. So, first off, how are you holding up, hon? Are you holding up all right? I know you're receiving a lot of hate online, which is totally uncalled for. But how are you holding up?
I have my moments. One minute I think I'm okay. The next minute, out of nowhere, I'm overcome with grief. At this point, grief is so many things. It could be crying, breaking down, all of that, anger. I'm just in between of all of it because I don't see how this happened.
Yeah. I know when I lost my son, I was like that. And, something, I just wanted the world to stop for a minute so I could get my bearings of where I was and wrap my head around what had happened. And so I can only imagine that you're kind of in that same space right now of you need a minute. You don't know how you're feeling because you're just yo-yoing between emotions, between anger and denial and bargaining and all of that, I would assume.
Yes.
So there are a couple questions I want to ask you that aren't necessarily about the positives with Kei'mani. Um, and if, like I said, if you don't want to answer them, by all means, say you don't want to answer it, and I will move on. No questions
I'm
asked. It's
I'm
been said that
transparent,
you and
so
your
I
mom.
have nothing to hide. I have nothing, that I want to lash out of angerness or negative. I'm transparent, so whatever question that you feel that you may want to ask, I'm transparent to them, and I'll acknowledge them to the best of my abilities.
And I appreciate that. That's kind of how Sunny and I both are. We just kind of say what comes out of our mouth, and you either like it or you don't, and that's how it is. Um, it's been said that you and your mom are in jail. Clearly, you're on a live stream with us, so you're not in jail. Is your mother, Dorothy, in jail?
No.
Okay. Which I did not think so, but I wanted to double check that. It's been said that you guys knew what was going on. Um, and I just that's a yes or no if you want to even comment on that because I think it's
There
ridiculous that you
was
guys are getting paid.
there was nothing going on. Like there was no signs. There was no, you know, essay signs, any of that. I just saw Kimani December 30th. I spent the whole week here for Christmas in Ohio. As I said in that interview, every holiday that came about, I was here. So I was just here for Christmas, and I was Me and Kimani had went to a couple stores together to get some last minute groceries. There was never a time where she, you know, was like scared to mention anything, or like I said, we had a very good bond. She was one to come and say, "TT, I don't like this," or "TT, you think we could talk about something later on?" She was that type to say something, or to even come to me, because she didn't feel like, well, maybe if I tell somebody else, they might just tell me, "Girl, get on." It wasn't that with me. We were like, it was niece and auntie relationship, but it was more like, I'm your friend, you can tell me whatever, and I'm the adult that's gonna try to handle it.
And if you would have seen something or noticed something, I'm sure, as a parent or as the
Most
aunt, you would
most
have stepped in,
definitely.
no hesitation.
Most definitely. Most definitely. If I had seen or even thought, because there wasn't even a thought there. It was, a normal home where a child lived. But if I had seen or thought anything, she would have most definitely came back home with me. Because like I said, we've been put through this before. So I'd not dare let somebody that's younger than me in my blood, or any child, go through what I went through as a child.
And I fully understand that. I've been there myself, so I know exactly what you're saying. You're almost hyper vigilant to the clues, if you've been through it yourself.
Yes, you look for certain things. You make sure you know that if there is something to look out for, you're looking for those things. And I never saw that, not once, of me going back and forth to my mom's house, or she coming to my house. Especially with her being in Indianapolis with me. Now she's gotten away from whatever may have been, causing her harm or stress in Ohio. And she never stated any of those things to me.
And you're fully confident that she was comfortable. If she were uncomfortable or something was going on, she would have come to you, correct?
Most definitely, yes.
Okay, so was Kei'mani around him very often, and was he her biological dad? Because it's been said in some sources that he is, and in other sources that he's not. I think he has lost the ability to be called dad, but he will probably be referred to as it a lot in this because he is a POS in my book.
He is a POS, and that's all around the book. um since I've been in the picture, I've always known Kei'mani to have it around. He's been around since Kei'mani has been around. So my sister told us this is Kei'mani's it, and we went along with that. But when she would get angry, or whatever it may be, in, she'll, oh well, I'm not sure if that's the dad or not. That was only out of anger. So can we say something out of anger? Because a lot of people say things out of anger and just be angry.
And, sadly, that is how it is in a lot of broken homes, where the parents aren't together. Is one minute everything's fine and dandy, and the next, well, you're nothing. And, that's just how it is. So I just wanted to get those few things cleared up. Now, I had pulled up the link for the Brown Legacy Memorial in case anybody wanted to donate. But I noticed today that they're saying that her memorial is actually being moved to another service. So is
It
there somewhere
is.
that people can donate?
I haven't actually got the name. I think it was it wasn't, I can't tell you the correct answer to that question. I do know that it was moved. The officiate decided to step down um because of things that have happened in his past, and people were trying to bring that up about him, and just make the funeral home itself look bad. So I know he did step down. We got that news yesterday as a family.
That's sad that people are, coming at you. I know somebody had come at you on one of your Facebook posts where I had messaged you and had then came at me because I gave you some words of encouragement. And I'm like, you know what? Kick rocks. You don't matter. Um, and that's just sad that people are doing that to a grieving family. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. Please just ignore that and keep your head up. Um, People are going to have opinions, but to get to what I want to know is who was Kei'mani? What was she like? I know you had said her favorite color was red.
Kei'mani,
Um,
Kei'mani, Kei'mani. I have stories for days to tell y'all about her. Kei'mani was a brilliant child. Happy, happy to see that people came to see her. Even if they were coming to see my mom, I mean, clearly they stayed in the same house. If they came to see my mom, they was coming to see Kei'mani. She was the highlight. She was the party of the. She was the life of the party. um I remember and a lot of people are coming at me and asking me questions on Facebook. One year she came with me to stay in Anderson, and Kei'mani had told all my apartment complex that her sister had cancer and she needed to raise money for the St. Jude's Hospital. And she was collecting money from these people. And I had found out when I got off work, like, where are you getting all this money from? She was like, I just be doing in and out jobs. And when I finally found out what was going on, I was like, "Why are you telling people this to get their money?" Kei'mani was brilliant. She if she needed something or she wanted something, that's what I'll say. If she wanted something, she was gonna find her way of doing it. And I was like, "You got to stop doing that. You asking for karma on your little sister." And she was like, "Well, I was just trying to get some money." And I remember my son and her was doing that for like a good, I say a week and a half or maybe two while I was at work. And I was just like, oh my goodness, y'all are silly as hell. But I didn't want to, I didn't
she,
want to make
she
it seem
sounds like
like
she was the
with all this happening, I didn't want to, tell that story and somebody be like, oh, she trying to tell the bad side. That wasn't a bad side of Kimani. That was a kid. That's what kids do.
she sounds like she was a hoot to be
She
around.
was. And I will always remember the memories that I have with her. Something to
And I
really
Right.
guess maybe
cherish.
that's where I can connect with you because I have a son that was murdered. So, some of the stories that, a family will tell about somebody who's gone too soon sometimes seem like we're talking bad. And then it's like, yeah, but you just had to be there.
You
You had to
definitely
be
had to
there.
be there.
Like, it was funny. You just had to be there.
Saneika, can I just
She
say
was
that
one of a kind. She really was.
she's got a beautiful smile, beautiful aura about her. When I see her pictures, yeah, like just right there, just beautiful, just a beautiful aura around her. You can just see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sanika, you had a picture on your Facebook of you and Kei'mani at that TikTok party.
Hmm.
Is it okay if I share that?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So you've got to see this, Sunny. It was so cute.
Oh,
She's
okay.
just
So this
like,
was it.
peace.
Oh, okay. So was it what kind of was it a birthday party or just a TikTok party?
No, it was her birthday party. It was her I want to say 11th birthday party.
Oh,
And my mom had told me that we were doing a TikTok party this year. So I gathered my sister. I have a sister that's my biological sister that lives in Indiana, and she has two kids. So we had all hauled together and came down here to celebrate with Kimani.
hmm. Oh,
And I
that's
remember,
priceless.
cutting up the shirt so everybody have their own individualized shirt with the little, the scragglies at the bottom. It
I
was just
remember
a fun
those.
time.
Oh, oh, I know. And again, I know this is all fresh and everything for you, but again, um, I know she's gone way too soon, way too soon. But I'm glad that you have these special memories for sure. Which is the way I always try to think. Like with my mother being gone and everything, I always just keep to the positive side as best as I can when it comes to this. But I just know that this is way too soon and devastating. But thank you for sharing and joining us today here. Totally appreciate that, Sanika. You know, during this time, that's so cute. Like I said, she just has a beautiful aura, just beautiful.
She did. Especially when attention was being shown to her. That's when she shined the brightest. She loved attention.
We saw that one. Um, I think it was in a news clip. Where she was. I think was she at school? Was it was a water clip where she was playing
I
in the
think she was at
water.
school.
Yeah. But go ahead, go on and tell us more stories because again, it's like a celebration of life more so, you know, than to sit
Kimani
there and
said when she got older, she wanted to be a veterinarian. She loved animals. She loved kids that she can make sure that they were okay. Passion is that dog in that picture behind you. That was Kimani'
oh,
best friend, and that's Passion's best friend, Kei'mani.
aw. Is
Now, is this dog still alive?
I was just gonna ask
Yes,
with the
yes,
grandma.
yes, and she's been acting weird ever since Kei'mani been gone. Just
Oh,
whimpering.
they know. Animals know. They do.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah.
And I will tell you, something that I found out, and I didn't know how important it was until my son died. Um, but if you can take, I'm assuming she's trained like around people, if you could take her even like before the service, it
Mm-hmm.
actually helps animals to say goodbye. They understand death. What they don't understand is being abandoned. And hopefully, this poor little pup, because it's so cute, I just want to reach out and pet it. Hopefully, you know, I
What a
just,
great name.
I feel for you
Tasha.
guys so bad.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I just want this, we hear about what was done to her, and I don't want that to be her lasting memory of people, of her. So, if we know that grandma, I think, described her as an old soul and she liked old music and she played basketball.
Yes.
Um, she was a helper. Anything you want to tell us about her, if you just want to share stories,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, this is just kind of a platform for us to learn more about her.
Man, old music was her thing. The Isley Brothers, it's a list of songs that go on because now I'm playing them, as I, may get in my car, I need to hear some music. Music is one of my therapies. And I just listen to something I know Kimani will listen to. And she wasn't like the new kid that want to listen to the trending music. Yeah, she did her little TikToks and she knew those songs, but Kimani was ultimately an old soul. She wanted to hear music that was produced and made before she was even here. She was the only kid
And
in the
that is
house,
really
so
cool.
with always being around adults, the older people listen to a different genre of music than we do. So with her being the only child in the house, she adapted to that music, and she ended up really liking it. That's what she rather preferred than you know what may be trending on TikTok. Yes, every child nowadays is gonna do a trending TikTok dancing and all that type of stuff. But Kimani was an old soul. She liked the old music. She liked the home cooked meals. I'm sorry, my light went out.
So, what was Kimani's favorite food?
Um, it had to be a home cooked meal. I don't want this to. Excuse me, you guys. I'm on my.
You're fine. So, like, did she have a specific, like, I know I remember it's been a long time, but I know I played basketball. I played AAU a long time ago. I don't even know if they still have AAU in school. Um, did she have a certain position or would she get up early and practice? Was I know you guys were going to have a basketball themed party for her birthday. That's what she had requested. Um, and that broke my heart. You're muted, baby.
Yeah, Sanika, you have yourself on mute there.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, excuse me. Um, Kimani, I'm not sure exactly what her position was in basketball. I know at my mother's house she has a hoop at the front door and she has one in her bedroom. So from her bedroom to the front door, she was always running back and forth making basketballs, hoops, and things like that. Like I
I can just
said,
see her running through the house doing that.
yes. And then with her being, she was light footed. So if we was still asleep or if I was still asleep, she'll see if I'm still asleep first and then she'll go play. If she seen I was still asleep, she's like, well, TT, I was just waiting for you to wake up. Or she'll will wake me up in my sleep, like, can I use your hotspot? And she'll wait till I fully get up and be like, okay, I'm about to play some basketball.
Mm. I played that all my life
Now, was
myself.
it common for her to leave the house?
No.
Would that be something that she would
Leave the
just
house.
do?
uh, Let me specify. She left the house to go to school, go on outings with my mom, but it wasn't known for Kimani to leave the house and not come back. That's why when it first happened, when she first came up missing, that was out of the norm. Kimani is not one to leave and not come back. Yeah, we all say teenagers, they get their mind of their own, they want to do things on their own. Kimani was not that. Kimani did not leave a house and decide not to come back, especially not with her glasses. So then when I first heard that, I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. You just
Yeah,
know when something's off.
you got this, TT. You got this. You gotta stay strong for her, but you also have to know that it's okay to not be okay sometimes and to let those emotions out. And don't try to hold them in because it only makes it worse. And, something I found, and it irritated me when my son was murdered. And it's like everybody around me didn't want to say his name and didn't want to talk about him. And it's like, but that's what I want to do. I want to remember the fun times and the happy times and the things that he did that even would drive me up a wall. That's what I
And
wanted to
that's
do. And
and I was telling myself, I don't want to. That's why I didn't want to really tell this story about what Kimani was doing because I don't. Right now with everything being so fresh, I don't want to seem like I'm telling a story like that made her seem like she was something other than what she was. She did
Absolutely
things
not.
that kids do. We have kids. We as kids, we've all done something to get some extra money. And oh mama, it was a or TT, it was an in and out job. And really, you was out there asking for money. But that was Kimani.
Yeah. And honestly, if
And when
people
she got the
want,
money, she spent it on other kids. When she got the money or whatever she was doing, it wasn't whatever she was doing. It was going to people's house asking, "Do you need your trash taken out? I'll do it for $1." It was that type. It wasn't she just doing anything.
mhm,
Um, and once she got her little whatever she made up, she would ask the kids around, "Y'all want to go to the store?" And they would go to the corner store and buy candy and stuff. Kimani was one of those kids. If I win, we all win.
uh, yeah. Well, you said she wanted to be a veterinarian, so that says a lot about her personality already, to be
Yes.
honest with you. You know, caring person that like there's certain personalities that go to teachers, veterinarians, doctors, whatever, and they all, those are deep empaths, caring people.
Yes, most definitely. She I'll just say I've yet to meet a kid like Kimani and I never will. I'll never get over this. I'll never get over this. I'm hurt off of this.
Yes,
and,
there's
and
so
I will tell you, I wish with all of my being that I could tell you that it gets easier and that the pain gets easier with time. And in all honesty, you unfortunately have been thrust into, you now have a new timeline and it's before and after. And it's not something that I would wish on anybody. Um, I, just the other day I went to the doctor and they're like, when did your first heart attack happen? Or when did your last stroke happen? And it's like, well, it was a couple years before Nick was murdered. So I did a timeline back, and it just, even now, 3 years later, it is, you have your moments, and you have to learn how to handle that and accept that. And something I noticed when my son was murdered, writing helped me out a lot. I don't know if you're a writer, but writing in a journal helped me. Um, I went and had a Build-A-Bear made that had his voice in it. Um, you've just got to find that one thing or that couple of things that helps you. And there's still times that I'll cry myself to sleep. It gets easier in the sense that it gets easier to deal with, but the pain stays with you.
Of course. Yeah.
And I wish I could take that from you. I hate that you guys are going through this, and I hate that the public is turning on you guys. You know, you and your mom. I understand. Turn on it all you want. It is who's responsible for this. And
I just hate that people
he
have
did this.
twisted and turned this story into, their own perception, their own point of views, their own speculations. It's allegations, assumptions, and speculations. Like, first of all, just as well as y'all are learning these things, I'm learning them just as well as y'all are. The second that y'all learn them, I learn them, and this hurts me more than it hurts y'all. Y'all didn't know her personally like I did. So with me finding out, oh, that the video of him being caught, and when y'all seen it, I seen it. There was never a notice, hey, let's reach out to the family and let this be known that he has been caught. Any of that. When y'all learned it, I learned it.
Can I say something quickly, Melissa? Sanika, uh, trust me on this. I never expected to be in the true crime uh, realm at all. But I want to tell you something, and take this absolutely 100%. There's always going to be these people. There's always going to be trolls. There's always going to be people that are going to try to tear you down, break you down, you know, honestly, let them have no impact on your life, because in true crime, trust me, there are people that will do it for clicks and views. They'll take the story, they'll twist it, they'll add to it, they'll manipulate it, do whatever they can to feed their pocket and stuff like that. So honestly, when it comes to the true crime and the stuff out there, honestly, ignore the trolls. They mean nothing. They don't know you. They don't know Kei'mani. They don't know your family. They don't know nothing about you. So trust me when I say this. Don't take it too personally at all, okay? Because they're gonna do it regardless. And you can only be in charge of your own actions and thoughts. So don't fall prey to the leechers that do this on cases and just try to twist it without having proper facts, or accuse, stuff like that. So trust me when I say that, being in true crime, you have a thick skin when it comes to this stuff. And but for you being a victim, to Kei'mani there, like I said, honestly, don't even give them a second thought. Just go about your way the way you always do, and hold your head high to whatever people are saying, because you know the truth. You guys know the truth. So that's what I want to preach
Now,
on
see,
that side.
I didn't know that you guys as a family weren't being informed that it had been caught, that any of this had happened, and that you were learning it. That to me is so wrong, and we came across that in another case that we've talked about, and it breaks my heart, and it's just so wrong that the living victims, because you are victims in this, are not being told this stuff ahead of time before the public is. There's got to be a better way, because for me, I don't know. I'm assuming, Saneika, you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's got to be almost as hurtful, and possibly in times more hurtful than the act itself.
Yes, I mean, understand the officer in Columbus was doing his job. Maybe some of the things that he, put out there may have been disturbing to others, but, to go into deep detail about how, you know, it was when I heard that was my first time hearing it, like over the over the social medias, and I was just like, are you serious? So then I'm like, what? Well, I want to talk to the corner. Like, what do you mean? Was that really true? Was her, like, was she cut? Like when I heard that, that did more trauma and traumatizing to me than just, already knowing that she's been killed. But to go into
Right.
detail how she was killed, like, y'all just y'all could have handled that different. You could have, told the family, left that out of the public's hearing, because then now they're going and they let this happen, and the grandmother or everybody in the family felt her. It was never that. Kei'mani had family around. Like I said, it sat in our face on multiple holidays, multiple events, Easter, every year. Anytime an event came around, he was there, indulging in the festivities that we had around as a family. He never gave off the, oh, he weird, and why he looking at, another child, or, giving them the side eye, or, maybe, promiscuous in some type of way. He never gave off those type of vibes.
Right.
He
And
sat down with us, and like I said, and indulged with us for hours. It wasn't, oh, he just come around and drop off Kei'mani, or he come around when he was picking up Kei'mani to take her over to where he resided to be with his other kids. He actually parlayed and sat in with us. That's why I'm just wondering what happened that night. What happened? And I never give him the excuse, or, or he was on drugs, or, what. I just don't understand. How could you do this to a baby?
absolutely. There's no justification for, and this is sick, it's twisted, it's beyond belief, and I'm so sorry that they put that out there and you guys weren't even aware of that. That is, uh, honestly, it's just, it's disgusting. And the thing is that, unless he personally tells you the answer, you know, um, honestly, you can't fix or understand sick and twisted, Sanika, right? Because he
And
obviously
you may
is.
never know the answers. You may never know the answer to your question of why. Um, it's just unfortunately a cruel part of being a living family member of somebody that's murdered. A lot of times we won't know why. And it breaks my heart. Like I teared up when you said that when they put the information out, as gruesome as those details were, um,
Yeah.
that you as a family didn't even know that yet. And we somewhat went into, you know, what happened last night. We didn't get deep into it, and I'm not going to do that while you're on here because that is just pouring salt in an already open and very tender wound. Um,
Nobody needs that,
but
Mallory.
I don't understand why you weren't informed beforehand, or why even that wasn't just left out of the report. Honestly, um, I could have went this whole thing not knowing what happened to her. And like I said, I just want this to be a positive so that those bad things that are out there about Kei'mani aren't what the public is left with. And, you know, we know more about her and how she was, and, you know, let people know, humanize her, I guess is the word, instead of just a name and a story. Like, you have actions behind that. Sonny, you can probably relay what I'm talking about better, but she seemed like such a sweet and loving, and I know all I'm going off is pictures and that, but
You can tell somebody's aura. You can tell somebody. I'm very judgmental. I judge right away because I know if somebody is, when I see an aura that's beautiful, Kamani's aura is beautiful. She has a very beautiful, bright smile, but the aura around her, you can tell. And like I said, she's just it's so tragic what happened to her. We can't say that enough. You know, and also Sanika, if there's if there's things that you've heard that you want to clear up, but let me tell you this. You can you can be tell the truth all you want, trust me. To the people that understand this, they will know where you're coming from. But then there's those people, no matter what you say, regardless, will twist that around. Okay. That will always happen. But for me, it's and Melissa, if there's anything that out there that you want to set the record straight on, absolutely feel free, whether it's about you, your grandma.
Um, so there was I seen a couple people asking questions like, what was Kei'mani doing in Cleveland just the previous weekend before all this happened? Excuse me, my light cut out again. Um, my sister had brung Kazaria down here, which is Kei'mani younger sister, and Tierra went back to Cleveland. Darnell went to Cleveland to take Kazaria back home, but Kei'mani attended with him so that Tierra and Kei'mani could have a grow up, or now you're starting to grow up talk. So yeah, she was only down there for 2 hours, and that probably was her first time seeing Kei'mani and Kei'mani seeing Tierra since the TikTok party. But it wasn't like that they was thinking that he was just going back and forth to Cleveland to go see Tierra. It was more that they was dropping off the baby's sister, and Kei'mani went with him so that
Mhm.
Tierra and Kei'mani could have that big talk or whatever
Gotcha.
talk that
And I
they.
just want to clarify for everybody. The reason I reached out to you, Sanika, instead of reaching out to Tiara, um, you know, you and your mother were there for Kei'mani. And it seems like the bio mom, Tiara, was not there that much from what I've gleaned from all the news reports. And when I want to get to know somebody, I don't go to the guy down the street who sees the person once a year. I go to somebody that knows them. And so,
Is that accurate? Would you say that that's accurate,
Yeah,
Sanika?
that's
Mhm.
very accurate. If you want to know something about Kei'mani, I would I would tell you, if I was somebody else, go to her aunt, go to her grandmother, go to the cousins that be over her grandmother house all the time. I would never not, and I'm not here to bash my sister. So
No,
it's not
no.
that. It's just she was not around.
It's just the truth is the truth. Simple as that. Yes.
It's factual.
Yeah.
and that's, something I don't want you to think I'm doing. I don't want any of the family bashed. But again, if I want to know her, I'm going to go to somebody that was closest with her. And it seems like to me, when I seen you in that interview, I really felt like you were really close and really tight. And
We were.
it's so you are from Indianapolis. I
No,
am from down
I
around
was
the
born in
Bloomington
Toledo,
area.
Ohio. I was born in Toledo, Ohio. I
Mhm.
got adopted, and my adopted mother, my mom, well, not my biological mother, but my adopted mom, moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, and I've been there since.
Well, that's another thing we have in common. I'm adopted as well. I live, like I said, down by Bloomington area. So we're not too far from each other. We're kind of in the same state. And I had said the other day, I said I'd seen Kei'mani's picture and something struck me as weird. And then when I read the missing person report, um, it just didn't make sense to me. At first, I didn't think it was involved. And then something didn't sit right with me. And so I did a video on it. But, you know, I just want to know how she was. And, I think I can just see her running through the house playing basketball from her room to the front door. I can
I
just see it,
also have a
you know.
video. My son
Oh,
and her. If you've seen a couple of my posts, my son is the boy that's in a couple of Kei'mani videos that I have made, a couple reels. They are literally 13 months apart, and Kei'mani
we
was
can play
a
those.
firecracker. She used to fight my son, and they used to, play around, like sibling love. I tag you, but I'll get mad if you tag me back. So now I'm going to go tell. So it was
Is that
always
on
TT. He hit me, and I'd be like, "Well, you hit him too." She was a
Sanika? Is that on
firecracker,
your
baby.
Facebook? Is that on your Facebook?
Yes,
Can we play
yes,
a couple of those reels?
yeah. You can,
Would that be okay?
yeah.
Yeah, you sure? You don't have to.
I'm gonna
But
see it
again,
regardless. I'm gonna see it regardless.
I was gonna, I mean,
Okay. So, I think what we'll do, Sunny, is I'm gonna wait until Sanika's not on here, and then I'll play those, because I really just don't want to. I don't want to put
well,
her through and have her grief on display, because I really feel like this would be something that would really um get her. I mean, it's up to you, Sanika, um, how you
I
want
was
to
gonna say
proceed with that.
it's a totally, it's totally your call, Sanika. Uh, If you're not ready for it, then that's not. If you want to,
It's okay.
because
I want everybody to see her. I want everybody to know that no matter what the circumstance may be, please talk to your kids. Let them know that you're there for them. You're open. Like I said, be transparent with these kids. I'm not saying be friends with your kids. Be the parent that they can come to and feel safe. We are the kids' protectors. I was my niece protector. I have survivor's guilt.
I bet you do. I'm so, so sorry. Again, children um, are my biggest hurt when anyone harms any child. Children are gifts, they're precious, and to be treated any differently is just a miscarriage of justice. And in this case, it is. And I'm so sorry that you're going to go through all these emotions. You know, honestly, there's no words, to be honest, to describe it. But by the same token, you know, obviously, um, she's up in heaven now, so we can at least celebrate her for who she was, who she is, the personality, the fun loving side of her. And I'm so sorry that you're gonna have to go through all this pain that's never gonna ever close that wound. You know, that's why, like, kind of like what Melissa said there. And honestly, Sanika, we followed a case called the Delphi murders, two girls that were murdered on February 13th and found on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And when I was talking to the grandma, Becky, and this case was going on for almost 8 years, okay, it's still going on.
Hmm.
She said, when I, because we do, like Melissa was saying, like she wants to talk about it. Like because it again, but anyway, so when I was talking with Becky, which is the grandma of Libby, and she said, I can talk about Libby all day long. I love talking about her. So she's like, so don't be afraid to ask me anything because I love talking about her. So that's the part that I see from all of this is that where there's something that's so horrendously bad, there's something by extension that's so beautiful, which is Kei'mani, and you can just see it in her. So again, uh, I'll let you and Melissa decide there if you want to watch any of those reels or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I said, she's a beautiful girl and celebration of life. She's so, she's so like when I seen her, Kei'mani, I don't know why, but I felt like I had seen that same face before. But I had, like, Melissa's the one that brought this case and told me about it. And yet, when I saw her face, I don't know why, but it just felt like I already knew the face. And like I said, if you're ready, go ahead. But she's just a little bright star, isn't she? How old was she here? Is this her hair?
So I'm trying to find out how to make this bigger. So give me just a second. But yeah, she's just such a cute little thing. She's just wait,
Um,
not that button.
I
Um,
oh, there. Well,
I could do it like that, I guess.
yeah, yeah, I can do that. Are you underneath the videos or picture? Are you going through pictures?
I had made a reel of pictures that I had.
So if anybody here has lost somebody, you might as well just get your Kleenexes out now, because I feel your pain in this. I'm gonna play it out, but yeah, I've got tears coming up.
TikTok party. And who's that?
That's
Who's in
my
that
son
picture?
RJ and Kei'mani.
Oh,
That was
okay.
the day that we were leaving to go back to Indianapolis. So she was highly excited because we was headed out of town.
Hmm. Mm.
That's my niece and Kei'mani.
Aw. Is that a zoo?
Yes, we went to the zoo. We had stayed and I lived in Anderson at that moment, but we had stayed in Indianapolis. We had got a hotel room, and I had woke her up because she was so excited. We was going to go kick it with my niece and my nephew. This is my sister in the picture with Kei'mani. This is Dorothy's youngest daughter. Um,
Okay.
and she was so excited. I think in one of the videos I have of a reel where I was waking her up from her sleep in one of the videos, and I was telling her like it's time to go because girl, you've been talking about it all night, so let's go. And I had caught her waking up. I actually caught her sleeping. I was waking her up in one of the videos, and she was just so happy to be around kids, to be around people that she knew, and she felt the love.
Aw. It's a gorgeous
You can
picture.
just see, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but you can just see the
I know.
huge smile on her face. Like, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous child.
Very.
And that's her with her cousins. My youngest sister, two kids. Those are her two kids. Mm. RJ and Kei'mani again. That was the last picture I took with Kei'mani.
I
This
was
one
gonna
right here.
say, okay, yeah, like I said, just a gorgeous girl. I'm pretty sure that's the one of those ones that's in the news, if I'm not mistaken.
I know I've seen this one before of her.
I think
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I think if we pull up Kamani, that like meaning if we were to Google it, I believe that that picture comes up because I know I've seen this picture. It's such a good picture.
It is. It is a very good picture of her. So
She's like
I know you
decent.
had said her favorite color is red, but is there a reason that her favorite color is red?
She never specified why she liked it red. She was when I went into her room one time, I'm I was always, so what you been into? What's the new for me, for you? And so you can tell me. So I was always asking questions and she was like, "Well, I'm getting this, but I really want it to be red. Cuz that's my favorite color." And I had asked her, I said, "Okay, that's my favorite color too. Okay, girl." And I was like, "The girlies that like red for Christmas." she had got a whole bunch of sweatpants and things like that. Because like I said, Kei'mani was not the type of girl that picked up Barbies. She was the type to pick up a basketball. She wanted the Nintendo Switch. She was one of those type of girls. She wasn't the one that had the Barbies and ready to paint her
The
fingernails.
we call them tomboys.
Yes,
The
that
one,
was Kei'mani.
yeah. And by the way,
So
that's why I wore this because I was told that she liked red, and since you do, and actually red's my birthstone color too. But anyways, so I was wearing red today in honor of Kamani. But I guess it's your favorite color too.
yeah,
uh,
it was just a lot of
So
things we
what
had
was her
to
favorite
we
video game?
So she had that Nintendo Switch. When I was just here for Christmas, she didn't exactly tell me what game she was
I'll be
playing,
right back.
but I know for a fact that she was always on it because she was always asking, "TT, can you turn on your hotspot so I can play these type of games, whatever games it is on the Nintendo?" So that's what she wanted.
I feel her. I got a Switch, and I tell you what, I'm addicted to it. When I'm not doing something, it's a not time saver, but a way to pass time. But she's just the most beautiful little girl. I mean, she just really is.
She
Now,
definitely had
But
the spirit for it.
Melissa, just come on. S- sorry, Sanika. Sorry, did you say that there was some videos,
Um, there's a
or were
video.
you talking about pictures?
I have made another reel. It was not the. I think it was like my second reel. It's a video of her where she was sleeping. In the video, I was waking her up.
Oh,
I want to say no, not this one. You have to go back.
that's some
It'll
home cooking.
be not this one. It'll be this one with Kei'mani. With her Forever Kei'mani, Forever 13 Kei'mani.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I'm
Oh,
not sure if it's. I have a couple on there because that's my brother and Kei'mani. Um, you can try that one right there. I don't really have a lot of videos on there.
oh. I don't know that they're playing, eh? Melissa, is that what it is? Couldn't
what
hear
was
you,
that,
Melissa.
Sonny?
Well, when you hit the reel, and did it not play?
Yeah, they're play. It's playing. It's music right now, but it's playing. It's just on the same photo right now.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I wish I could screen share with you guys. Let's see.
Uh,
I'd
well,
say if you can
you can't.
share it, um, I think. Let me see here. Doop doop. I don't know how
Can
to
you?
remove that.
Yeah.
Stop
Do you see
name.
where the word settings is in the back
That's
screen? Yeah. So you would hit settings and then share screen.
okay. So on my screen,
Oh, sorry. Present.
I
Sorry.
see Mike, Cam, chat, more, and then leave.
Hmm. You don't.
I'd
So I
click
don't really.
more, maybe.
Yeah. Click more. See if there's
When I
a.
click on more, it says comments, recordings, stream this to this audience, and settings, and then cancel. So I'm not sure.
Hmm. Yeah, because the
I'd say
word
you can
for
also send it to me if you want to tag me in it on Facebook, or
Mhm.
send it to me on Facebook. You can do
yeah,
that too.
yeah.
I think I could send one to you right now. Let's see.
Long as it doesn't have copyright music.
Okay.
Actually, I don't care if it
Oh
does.
yeah, because it'll
No,
kick you
I
off.
don't. I honestly, I don't care if it has that. This isn't about that part, that side.
I'm not monetized, so it can do whatever for me. I don't care.
Yeah, my channel is, but I could care less. It's never about monetization. It's about if there's a song with it, whatever, just play it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted this live to just kind of be, the fun things about her and you know, the
Yeah.
good things, the positive things, because so much is out there that is so negative, and it drives
Hmm.
me up a wall, and I
And
can't.
just
I think I just sent one to you.
hi, Miss Dog Lover. I just want to say this. Hi, Miss Dog Lover.
So
Hi, Jack. Go ahead.
it's there. It's gonna take a second to download.
Mm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Just saying hey to everyone that's coming to join and this live with Kei'mani's Aunt Saneika. Thank you guys for joining us today. It's always um, it's always really nice when a family member can speak instead of it being um, rumors or gossip or people twisting things and stuff. It's always nice when the family members are able to. Mhm. Your background reminds me of like tie dye shirt, Libby.
That's because that is my favorite color, tie-dye. All
Your
right,
favorite color.
this is the one Sanika just sent me. It is a color.
Oh, is it a
It's
color?
just a bunch of colors all in one. Yes.
No sound? Mhm. There no sound, Melissa?
I'm getting one with sound right now. Let's see. March came back. Here we go.
So,
Oh,
did you not hear the sound? They were singing happy birthday.
Yes.
I didn't. Really?
Oh, did
Huh.
anybody
Well,
else hear the sound?
I don't think so. Because you probably are because you're the one playing it. And Sanika would because she has it on her side there. But try it one more time. Try it one more time.
Oh, okay.
Sanika's kind of.
Hold on.
I
Tell me if you guys hear anything.
nope. Nope. See, Jackie says no sound. That's weird. Huh. That's okay. It's
So,
a
the sound was them singing happy birthday to her. I'm sorry, I don't know how to
is
um
is Sanika okay there? Because I keep seeing her things about Sanika. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, okay. Just I see your thing spiraling. Usually means someone's lagging.
It probably is. Yes, but they were saying happy birthday in this video. I'm trying to find another one where we were just. Is this it? No, I don't want to. Hold on, I want to.
Melissa, are you gonna place the
Okay,
interview
so
with?
I just sent you. I just
Go
sent
ahead.
you one of Kei'mani when she was happy dancing at her birthday party. Oh God, do this. I cannot. This is just too much.
Isn't that strange? No sound. Huh. We get the point though. That's so cute. Is she a Russian?
girl's got better moves than I got.
Play that one again. I don't know why we're not getting sound from the sun, but whatever. We'll make it. Yeah, she was totally. That's what she was doing, right? Like one of those Russian moves, like hi, hi, hi.
Bouncing up and down. That's her little sister in the back, so she was happy. My
Now,
baby was happy.
you talking about the one in the white shirt or the one in the red?
No, The one in the red is her baby sister. The one in the white shirt is her cousin, my sister's daughter.
Okay, okay, yeah. I love that shirt that she has
I
on.
wonder why it sure sound a while ago when I
It could,
was playing that other video, so I don't know why it's not now.
well, it's kind of because it's different. It's off of Facebook, so on there, but
Mm.
it's okay. It's all good, all good. Um, what I was going to ask you, Melissa, were you planning on playing Sanika's interview, or maybe she doesn't want to see
Uh,
herself actually
so I think I that's kind of in one of the videos that I was gonna play
after?
after I had Saneika on. Um, but I told her I wouldn't keep her very long, about an hour, and that's about what we've had. Just Saneika. Is there
Have we had
anything
for an
else you
hour?
just want to let us know, or
Ooh,
whatever?
Um,
Because like I said,
because
I don't want to get into the case while you're on.
if anything, I don't mind if you guys share this. It'll get more people. What I want people to get from this that has happened is grab a hold of your kids, actually have a bond in a relationship with them. They deserve it. You deserve it. Because once they're gone, there's no coming back. And if I could,
absolutely.
woulda, coulda, shoulda, this is not how I planned out for my niece.
You know what? Absolutely. Like I said, children are gifts. Um, they're precious. I have one child. He's 28, and when he was born, it was my responsibility to make sure that he was loved, that he learned all the boundaries and morals and type of stuff like that. Children need love. That's what they want. They just simply want to be loved and
Children
need to
have
feel.
feelings just like we as adults have
Absolutely.
feelings.
Hmm. Yeah, and now is Melissa, if you don't mind, only because when somebody asked this question yesterday, and we didn't even know what Steffa was talking about. Sanika, can I ask you one question that it will bug me if I don't ask you it because I have no clue what it meant. What was this about? Some ransom notes,
So,
grandma?
okay, my mom, when Kei'mani went missing, the day that Kei'mani went missing, you know how the police asked you to put the guardian's number on there? Facebook got her number somehow because when I texted on Meta, you know how you can go to the search bar and Meta
Yeah,
pop up? If
yeah.
you search, if you put in Kimani's grandmother, you'll get my mother's number. Those ransoms were not from my mother. I looked at her phone myself. That was somebody sending a ransom fake text messages trying to
Oh,
get my mom to pay off of this
those
situation.
mass. Okay, thank you
But she
because
individually sent them to my aunt, and my aunt sent them elsewhere, which made it, whoever sent them off, whatever the case may have been. Then they sent it
right.
off to a podcaster, whoever,
Yeah,
and they made it seem like my
twisted it.
mom was sending it to herself.
Yeah, yeah. And I get
I
that.
can't wait to it, tells his story,
Yeah,
So, all the people that bashed and threw rocks and threw the stone before, actually seeing what was
yeah,
going on against my mother, and they actually see what's going on, and not everybody gonna be quick to apologize like they were quick to pick up a stone and throw it, but I want them to,
absolutely.
feel like, dang, I accused somebody that was totally innocent. Understand emotions are high. Understand that. What do you think I feel like? I feel like a
No,
POS right now. Because, like I said in the interview, if I knew any of this was happening or could have been going on, I would have took her back to Indianapolis with me. I'm stable there.
absolutely. 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 And again, I'm so sorry
And
that you're gonna have to go with put up with that stuff on that. Sorry, Melissa, what were you gonna say?
and I know you had said that you had survivor's guilt,
Yeah,
and I wish there was an easy solution to that, Saneika, and there just isn't. But I want to tell you, as the mother of a murdered child to the aunt of one, and aunts, in my opinion, are just second moms anyway. They're the more fun version of mom because there's a
best
little
aunt
less
ever.
rules. Just saying.
Mm,
But you can't play the what if game. You can't play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game. Okay. You just can't. And don't let it eat you up, because people that know you know the truth. And the people that want to make up lies and talk about you or your mother or anybody else in the family that doesn't know you and wants to spread the negativity, you don't need that. And they're talking out their ass, okay? And there's going to be people that are going to do that. And
There's going to
just
be a
keep
lot
that
there.
crown straight, keep your head up. And you have me on Facebook. I'll send you my number. If you ever need to get together and just vent, or you need to call somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning and cry on the phone, don't hesitate.
I got
I'm
two
here
things to
for
ask you,
you.
Miss.
And just don't let people get you down, because you know the truth.
They're
Your
not worth
mom
it.
knows the truth,
Not worth it.
and that's all that matters. God knows the truth. Okay? And don't give those haters or those trolls a second glance or a
Yep.
look. Okay?
You said you're a straight shooter. That means that you have a lot of strength. You know, you can be empathic and caring and still have a ton of strength, like myself. You know, I have too much of a shield against the haters. They don't bug me. They don't bother me. We see it all the time. Like I said, I'm so sorry that unfortunately this happens to every case. Okay, every single case. Sanika, two things personally I want to. Well, one thing I want to say to you, without sounding, I'm not okay. Let me put it this way: I'm from Canada, by the way, if you didn't know, um, Vancouver, Canada. Um, but I wanted to say something to you that is important. So, and don't call me. I'm not a kook. Okay, I'm not a crazy lady. I'm not like a. I don't sit there and go to church and shit like that. Okay, myself. But let me tell you, I had an experience back in the early 2000s. Okay, let me. I'll just say it like that. Some people get a little bit off when you ever talk like that, so I really don't talk about that stuff too often. But I had an experience, uh, Sanika, where a side nephew of mine died at 2 years old, 3 years old of meningitis. Okay. I went to go say a prayer for him. And I thought somebody was talking to me like it was my own head. I'm not going to get into the whole story about that. Bottom line is you think that your head's talking to you and it's not real. I go to the funeral a week later. The same two words that he told me that he would tell me if I would tell his mom that he was okay, that he was sad. And at the very end of that ceremony, those words came out of his mom's mouth. And I literally dropped my jaw. But I want to tell you, they're around. Just talk to just talk to Kei'mani. She's around, okay? And I say that with the most being that I am, okay? Without being a cuckoo clock, because I'm not. I'm a very grounded individual, but I'm also a very, I'll say spiritual, because I'm more of like a free bird, a butterfly type of thing, free spirit. Just know, Kei'mani, she's around you. Just talk to her. That's all you need to do. Just talk to her because she's there. Okay. And the second thing I want to ask you is before you do go, would you tell us one more special story about Kei'mani and well, like for you personally?
Yes. Excuse me. Um, like I said, I can go on with stories and stories about Kei'mani. One time again, we was in Indianapolis, and it had been she was under what do you call the carports, and my
The
car
garage.
was
Yeah.
under there.
Carport. Yeah.
And my son was like, "Mama, Kei'mani in your car." Why? When I came downstairs, she was in my front seat talking about this how I'm gonna drive when I get older. And she was like she was making the sounds of a car and everything. And she was like, "But I ain't gonna drive like you, TT. You get too many tickets." And I was just like, "You want to judge? Wait till you get older."
Yeah.
They're always critics.
you know.
Because I remember one time I was bringing her back, and while I was headed to Ohio, we had got pulled over. That's why she said that, like, TT, you get too many tickets, so I ain't gonna be like you. And when
Right.
I had to pay for those tickets, I had to come to I think it was Aurora, Ohio.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I had to, get through there. And so while I was already down here, I would come see Kimani and my mom, just a quick visit and then get back on the road. But she would show like, TT, I'm gonna drive like this when I get older, but not like you because you get too many tickets.
Yeah. uh like I said, and I know you said, but anytime you need a safe place, honestly, Melissa and I are genuine, honest, sincere. We hold our integrity high, our friendships high and stuff like that. Anytime, if ever you need an outlet to say anything, for sure, just know that um, we are two individuals that truly care, and we have our integrity to stand behind us, because without that you're nothing. So just know that, okay? We never take advantage of family members or anything like that. Our sincerest sympathies are with you and your family. um, Again, avoid the you can avoid the haters. Don't click on those ones where you know that they're talking smack about you. Honestly, it will do you no good. They mean nothing to you. You know who you are as a person. You know who Kei'mani was. You know who your I guess it would be would it be your mother?
Yes, that's my mother.
Yes, yes, on there. You know, so for me personally, I that's my things to you is, you know, if ever you need to reach out, this is a very safe place. If ever you want to say a word or something, feel free on there. But
I'm gonna say
I just want,
a lasting word. Everybody who's watching this, love your kids, and
yeah.
Kimani, TT, love you. I love you, and you meant a lot to me. Please, people, hold on to your kids and love them.
Hmm.
And
Um,
that is such a powerful thing. You can feel the love that you had for her, and I can tell you that she felt it too.
of
And I've
course.
sent you my number. Please give my thoughts and prayers to your family, your mom especially. Um, we're
Yeah.
here for you guys if you need anything. Um, and if you get the name of the funeral home, if you want to message it to me, I will put the link to the funeral home and any donations in the link of this video, so that if people are watching it on replay and want to donate, they can. Um,
I'll definitely get the information from my mom and inbox it to you. Like
Okay.
I said, there's been a lot of people in the community in the state of Ohio that has contributed to, towards her services, her homegoing services. So, I
Oh,
don't want people to
yeah.
think like, oh, we're still asking.
Right.
It's not that. It's just
Absolutely.
people are, expressing themselves by, giving out donations and things like that. Um, I wouldn't want to come up from this off of this situation. So I'm not asking for that. I'm just, I'm thankful that people want to, offer help, because anything could help. We're trying to get a actual memorial stand, on the street that her body was found. So that costs money.
Yeah.
Services,
Absolutely.
the limo back and forth, to the funeral home and things like that. Like those things cost. It's not just, oh, the city's gonna just pay for everything. No. Those things cost, and people are helping and donating and offering their services.
Hmm. You know, when I was watching the news, Sanika, um, the balloons at that house, I think it's on Miami Street, I want to say,
Hmm.
that the balloons and the love of that community. I remember the one guy that was doing the news was, in front of it, and I was like, oh my goodness, look at all the love from that community, as all those balloons and stuffed animals and notes and all that stuff, you know. So that in itself is very special when you have a community, that is sympathetic, you know, exactly to what the family is going through and stuff like that. And I do want to say again, I know yesterday was her birthday. I had done a little small little video that said happy birthday to her on there. She would have been 14 years old. Well, you know, now she's in God's hands, and just again, prayers bless you. Love your children, absolutely. You know, because you never know, even ourselves, we never know when it's our time, you know? So make your moments
Exactly.
count in life. That's what life is about. It's not about anything else, actually, to be honest with you.
And Saneika, I don't know if you can see the chat, babe, but people are telling, God bless you and, that you're strong. They wouldn't be able to do an interview so soon.
Yeah.
People are giving out hearts. Um, you know, just know, you have a community behind you, and
And yeah,
it breaks my heart. It really does. And, something, you know, Kei'mani seemed like an absolutely sweet, sweet child. And it kills me that you as a family are learning details of this case from social media. And I can't express to you how much that just infuriates me and hurts my heart to know that you're learning those details from social media.
that's crazy.
Um,
That's just crazy, actually. That's wrong on
I
every
just,
level.
yeah,
That's so wrong, you know? That's just so wrong on there.
Thank
But
you, everyone, for the
you're welcome.
condolences and sympathy, letters, or outings, or just reaching out. I really appreciate it, y'all. I'm going to
Oh,
get off of here. The more
yeah.
I just keep looking up at this picture, it's hurting me. So I'm going to get off of here. Thank you, you guys.
Okay. Bye, Sanika. Biggest hugs,
you're welcome,
prayers.
hon.
On there. Ah, well, now we're oh, there we are. Yeah. I mean, her face is just like it reminds me of somebody that I've seen before. Like it's almost like one of those deja vu moments. But she's just, anyways. That was very
I thought
wonderful.
that was my first seen her.
Pardon?
I thought the same when I first seen this picture here. It's like she
Yeah,
looks so familiar. But
yeah.
I'm in Indianapolis a lot, so it may be I've actually,
No, but
passed her on the street, or she looks like she's just got one of those faces, but
and
she's
it could have been,
just so
yeah, it could have been a child off TV that she just resembles. That's why I'm having that deja vu feeling with it. But I want to thank Saneika, right, and Melissa. That was really great that she ended up joining. She kept her word. She came on, shared a story. Again, I get it, right? This is very soon, and but at the end of the day, right? It's everyone has their own way of dealing with things, and to sit there and tell the stories of actually, to me, that's probably the most special part. So it's kind of like what you said, Melissa, right? So when I had said play those videos, right? Because she was talking about them, you could see with the smile on her face, and like you had said, that you want to talk about your son, you want to talk and stuff like that. Because for me, when I think about this, there's nothing ever that's going to bring your son back, Kei'mani back, the girls, Delphi girls back, all these people. There's nothing that's ever going to bring them back. But, but the light that I see is that we have these beautiful memories, um, which is really the most enjoyable part of remembering somebody. It's kind of like my mom. I don't mourn her death, really. I don't, because it's a circle of life. It happens, it happens. Instead, I always celebrate her life. I don't go to her graveyard. I, in turn, ring my, like, see this bell right here? Okay. I bought this for my grandma. She was born on Remembrance Day. So I remember, just quickly, I just want to tell you one quick story about this. So when I would come down the stairs. This is when I was with my ex, and I'd come down the stairs, and this little bell, and I'd have this little shrine right when I came down the stairs of my grandma's stuff. I know you want me to ding you. Oh, some angels are around us, but anyways, Melissa, are you still there? Are you hiding? Just want to make sure you're there still.
I'm here. I'm
Okay,
hiding because I need to smoke a full cigarette.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So the thing about this bell was, I remember walking downstairs, you guys, and I remember I was kind of having one of these days where I was just, ho hum, what's the meaning of life? Where do we go? Anyways, I come down the stairs and I'm like, Grandma, can you just give me a sign and let me know what happens to us after a while? Now, this is before my experience, okay? So, anyways, okay, so I said it, and I'd come down the stairs every morning going, hey, Grandma, how's it going up in heaven? Basically, did it because it was my little shrine. I didn't need to go see a graveyard, okay? But anyways, so later that day, okay, like, and you have to, okay, understand this because we had a computer room, and the ex had this big computer, and on this computer, it had papers stacked this high, right? Now, I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was just, like going like, what the heck's all this shit? But anyways, so as I'm lifting up these papers, there's this little piece of newspaper clipping that's turned upside down, with car sales stuff on it, like out of the newspaper, right? Hi, Sharon Parker. How are you? Okay, exactly, Jackie. So, anyways, so yeah, so I lifted up, and all of a sudden, something in me said to go back and find that little newspaper article or that newspaper that was turned upside down. Well, I'll tell you, okay, the same day that I asked my grandma for a sign, is that when that article that I'm talking about, when I turned it over, it was my grandma's obituary, and I didn't know where I had misplaced it. And so out of all these papers, I'm not kidding you, I just was like this and I was like, oh, I wonder what that was. And then I went back to it and it was my grandma's obituary. So when people don't want to believe in signs, stuff like that's beyond the actual experience of knowing that there is life after death. Again, either people can choose to believe so or not, totally up to you, regardless. At the end of the day, all I know is I talk to my family all the time and I'm a smart ass about it as well because I know I'm not afraid to die because I know that I'll be on my way to kick some ass up in there in heaven, on my parents or whoever comes across me anyway. But anyways, those are my two significant experiences. Um, the first one, which was a longer version, most people have heard that one, but so I can't tell you how important it is. Like Saneika was saying, right? You have children, love your children. The most important thing, if anyone loses track of the most important thing in life, it's your family. And when I say family, it doesn't have to be that brother and sister you hate like I do. I'm talking about your husband, your children. Those are the most important things. Life is wee but short, and we never know when it's going to end. But so many people lose sight of the true real value of what living is truly about. And it is sure in the hells ain't money, but it does make it nicer. I'll tell you that. But you know what I mean? But I always knew that from when I was a kid, right? I always knew the importance of my value. Like I knew my purpose as I got older. My purpose was to help people, put myself aside if I could help other people. I never had to think about it, just did it, right? Stuff like that. But I always knew that life was too short and you're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun doesn't shine every day. Peace. Okay. All right. My turn to have faith now. Okay. Go on. Go on with your bad self.
So, like I said, it does, that's, I just wanted to talk about Nick when he died, and everybody, kind of didn't want to say his name or would refer to him as your son or just wouldn't talk about it at all. And it's like, I want to speak on him. Because, like Jackie said, speaking on them is what keeps them alive. And, when Nick died, we, give me just a second. I need to go grab something.
Okay.
I'm going to take a quick break here. I will be.
Yeah, on there. That's a thing, you guys, right? Is that when something tragic happens, I think we all know this. It is really hard. It's a subject that's really hard to bring up to other people because you don't know if it's a very sore spot. Because typically when you bring it up, then all of a sudden their eyes fill with water because obviously then you think to yourself, you feel guilty for maybe them being in this moment, and then all of a sudden, you put them in a sad moment. So people avoid talking about deaths typically, and the only thing that mostly we can say is just, so sorry to hear that, right? Because most people do not want to bring that up because they don't want to hurt the person or make them have that memory all of a sudden and just change the full mood, you know. So it is nice when people like yourself, Melissa, do say, like, like, hey, I want to talk about my child. It's like Becky said to me, I want to talk about Libby. Ask me anything you want. I can talk about Libby all day long, she said. And I get it, but it's people that didn't have someone just pass that have a hard time with it, because we don't want to tread on that type of water, because you don't want to be insensitive to somebody. So you instead of more avoid it. But yet it can probably be very lonely.
My brother and my nieces and nephews, I have a niece, her name is Nicole. We call her Nick for short, which was, of course, my son's name. And they came over the night of his funeral. And as much as I wanted to talk about my son, I couldn't say my niece's name because I couldn't say it without tearing up. So when we went, this is that's Nick.
That's your Nikki.
So that's my Nikki, baby. So we went to plan his funeral. And now I show you this picture here, right? Because when we went to plan his funeral, we walked in and, they have like this wall. Anybody who's never went to plan a funeral, I'm sorry, but they had this wall at our funeral home and it had all the different memorial books that you could have. And my son's significant other, which they were in the middle of a divorce, but they wanted the actual book. So we agreed that I would take pages out of it that I wanted, and then they could have the book. But when we went in to pick out the book, there were all these different books on the wall. And this one stood out to me to the point that I almost couldn't say that it was the book I wanted. I just pointed because this is the picture on it.
Yes.
And it looks like the back of my son's head. And so that's what we chose. And you just want to talk about them and keep them alive, and it breaks my heart that my son's case was not, public. It did hit the, I believe there was one news, like 10-second clip of body found in the road. No name was mentioned, but I cannot imagine how painful it must be for the family to learn what happened to Kei'mani. We're gonna look at some other stuff here in a minute, but to learn that from social media has to be absolutely gut-wrenching. I was lucky enough, I knew, and it wasn't televised. It wasn't a big story in our community. Like I said, there was like a 10-second clip of body found in the road. It's like, what? And then it was, I knew those details beforehand. So I can't imagine how I would feel learning that from social media. And that's where I can't imagine what Kei'mani's family and what Sebastian's family is going through. But you talked about, the sign from your grandma. I was talking to Nick, and it's just, I have this, I hate commercials. I hate them. I've told this story
I know.
before. Hate them.
Same. Yeah.
Dan. So I DVR everything and then I watch it back so that I can
Yeah.
just fast forward. And a show that I still watch to this day, I've not seen it before, and I had not seen it. I've not seen it after. And while watching the show, I was talking to Nick, and this showed up on my TV, and I actually had to rewind it so I could get a picture of it. So I
Oh,
was like, there is
wow.
no way nobody is going to believe me that this was on my TV. And I've not seen it since, and I'd not seen it before. But it was something in that time that brought me some comfort. It was the I'm okay moment.
Yeah.
The moment that I had permission to grieve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So to be going through all this and as much hate as they're getting online and from people that don't know them, just, I mean, I know that how I feel about certain people, right? But for me,
Yeah.
they seem genuine.
And you're right. And I'm honestly, I'm glad she cleared that up, because I know Steffa was asking about that, and we've seen that before where somebody goes missing, and then these losers try to get money out of them and stuff like that, But I honestly haven't watched any videos on, like, meaning besides news videos, I haven't watched any creators on this case at all. I have no idea what people are really throwing at them or not. But but the thing is that it doesn't matter what we even say. It doesn't even matter what Saneika says, because there's the people like myself and yourself, and the people that have those, good brains out there that can sit there and, when you're listening to someone, and someone's just being, and like I said, you know, you can always usually tell honesty for the most part when somebody literally says, "Look, I got nothing to hide. Ask me any question you like." Well, besides Christopher Proudfoot, excuse me on that one. But anyways, but um,
But he won't
I
answer those hard questions.
no. But the thing is that, like I said, no matter what we say, these people are gonna, like I said, say that the anti failed or this failed, and they have no idea about their life whatsoever. I get it, judgment. The thing is that it's never going to change. Okay, there's no point in even trying to, like, fight the war on that, because it's just pointless. All you can ever do is just become a better person yourself from it. Learn, like I grew from Delphi, and be was able to learn from my mistakes that way. And that's the whole point of it, is that you do stuff and learn. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So at the end of the day, you know like, I truly hope, and I know it's hurtful, just like it was with Delphi and the grandparents being accused of having something to do with the girls' murders and stuff like that. It's gonna be a hard ride for sure with the social media storm. But this case, honestly, I can tell you right now, this case is gonna come, and in a sense, it's gonna go. It's not gonna be one of those long lasting ones, uh, for the fact that the dad, is the one responsible. And so I don't see this case kind of staying out there, not like Sebastian's case, of course, but you know what I'm saying? So I hope that I hope the family doesn't really pay attention to the social media side of things too much. Go ahead. Oh,
I
is that
sure
what it
hope
is?
not. So this is where Kei'mani's stuff is going to be. It's the Dale Riggs Funeral Home, and I don't know how to make it any bigger, so I will
It's okay.
get the link and put it in the description of this video. It's DALEFH.com if anybody feels inclined to donate to the funeral expenses of Kei'mani. Once again, I will put
Hey, there's our conversation.
Yeah, right.
I do that all the time. But yeah, and so
New to this, it'll be all right.
I do that all the time. Next thing you know, you're like, did I type anything that I don't want people reading? I don't care. But yeah, do they have their own personal link, like kind of like when Blaine passed away? Um, and
That's what
people,
I'm gonna look at right now and see.
okay,
So while I'm doing
you want to
that,
play your
let me
mom's thing,
pull this. Yeah, let me pull this back up, and we will listen to. I
Tiara?
don't
I think her
really
name is
know that.
Tiara.
Yeah,
Tiara
Tiara.
or
This
Tiara.
is Kei'mani's mom, and let me know if you hear the sound um, on this one.
Yeah, no, we can hear it fine on that. It was just the Facebook stuff.
Yet I haven't given myself that time because if I stop moving, nothing's gonna get done.
Right. Right. So I just have a few questions. I don't want to hold you because I don't really want to put too much on you than you can bear. Okay. So the main question, the $1 million question that a lot of people are confused about is how long was Kei'mani with her grandmother and the godmother?
She's been bounced back and forth between my mother and my godmother since she was a year and a half.
Did you actually lose custody? I heard said something where they lied on you and said that that you had did something and that's how she got custody. How did you lose custody of her?
They took her from the hospital from me. I never got to take her home.
Oh wow. And they didn't give a reason?
So it was a bunch of false allegations that were put on me. They said everything from me being a junkie, me bouncing from place to place with strangers, me medically neglecting my. I told you to stop. Sit down. Come on. Come here. Hush. They said that I medically neglected my daughter, and a bunch of other things that were not true. I brought them full documentation of everything that was going on because I wasn't living up here. I was living in Cleveland even then. And I only came up here to allow my mother to see her grandbaby be born. I'm her first child. And I was told that I was supposed to have been aborted. So the fact that she still gave me life when she really didn't have the means to do so, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to give her that gift. But like I said, I got down here. The documentation that I brought consisted of like my lease, my W-2s, my medical records, because that was what they were saying. They were saying I medically neglected my daughter. I brought them my full medical records with, my baby's midwife and my doula's number, all of that good stuff. I brought them my lease. I brought them the title to my car. I brought them W-2s from all of my jobs to try to like prove to them that the things that were being told about me were false. And the last time I gave it to them was during what calls a staff meeting. I gave it to them the last time in that staff meeting, and they tore it up in my face and threw it in the trash and continued on with the meeting like nothing had happened. So.
So, but you said she never went home with you though, right?
So something I want to point out: the audio going in and out is not me. It's
Yeah.
Tiara's audio, but maybe it's because I didn't ask questions like this lady is asking. Maybe it's like the interview style, whatever. But it's not a point of tearing down other family members for me. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to know who Kei'mani was and what she was like, and I think we got that. We got personal stories, and that's for me what it was.
Yeah.
It feels like this is more of
Well, it's this is like a clearing up rumors type of, like, that's how I'm taking this really.
yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there. This is not, throwing shade at anybody. This is just showing what the mom is saying. We've already spoke to Kei'mani's aunt, Saneika. So this is Savage Royalty. It's a TikTok that Kei'mani's biological mother went on. So unless you have anything to say, I'm going to keep playing it.
Keep playing.
She never got a chance to like go home. You just gave birth to her.
They took her from the hospital.
Took her from the hospital. Okay, so my next question, I don't want to hold you into, too long. I know you got a lot to do and you're busy right now. I understand. So they took her from you. Now, during this time that when they took her from you, the first person that she went with was the godmother, correct?
The godmother. They gave
Belle
my
is
godmother
so
kinship
annoying.
care over my daughter when she was a year and a half.
Okay. And how long did she stay with the godmother?
I'm not exactly sure. I believe she stayed there solely up until she was like 5 or 6, and then they started bouncing her back and forth between the two.
Okay, so this basically lines up with what the grandmother said, that she was there off and on for about 5 years. Would that be fair to say?
My daughter's about to be 14 tomorrow. No. No, that's still not accounting for, that's accounting for like 3 to 4 years.
Okay, so that timeline is just a little bit conflicted. Okay, so during this time of her being there, how many years did you fight for your daughter after she was born?
Hey, I'm on the phone. No, do not open that door.
Okay, so the bell is still driving me nuts. But that is such a mom thing to do. I am on the phone. Would you shut up a minute?
Yep. Yep.
No. You want to go out there? You can go out there and play if you want to. But I can't have you playing in here. But no, I've always fought for my daughter. I've fought for my daughter since the day that I had her.
Give me 1 second.
In June, my mother was supposed to be signing a third-party custody transfer so that I could get my baby back, because she said that she did not want her anymore. She said my daughter was stealing. My daughter was lying. I don't know that any of that is factual, and I don't believe it.
I just want to say, I don't know Kei'mani, but I don't think any of that is true. As far as the stealing, I don't think that the grandma didn't want her. I think that if anybody wanted her, it was the aunt and the grandma. And as far as, lying, she's a teenager. Teenagers lie.
I was gonna say, and it's not even far-fetched to say that as teenagers or kids steal as well. Frick, we all did it. No matter what, we all did it. I don't care if it was 25 cents or 50 cents or a piece of gum from a candy store. I think most of us are guilty of that as well. And lying, well, who didn't? I mean, really, get yourself out of trouble or try to. But anyway, but I agree about I don't know, but I kind of agree. I think that the grandma, and the auntie there, Auntie Saneika there, wanted. Sorry, just finished having a drink of Sprite, a little burp there. Kei'mani type of thing. So, I don't, like I said, I'm gonna listen to what she has to say, but again, she was not in this child's life, very, a lot, we'll just say, and hence why you said you reached out to the auntie, and because the grandma and the auntie are more in her life, And regardless, people always have justifications for this and that. Maybe what she's saying is true, maybe what she's saying is not true, and she's embellishing. Who knows? At the end of the day, it's still like the mom's perspective. And you're right, this is kind of like an interrogation, more so. It's just more like, don't want to keep you out, but let's just, like these are kind of harsh things to be saying, kind of, really. But hey, I mean, I guess if the mom was willing and, and wanted to answer them or whatever, then so be it. Each to their own.
To each their own. I think that the interview style here is kind of, I want the tea, but
Yeah,
for
I want
me,
to.
it was,
it.
I want to know about Kei'mani. I want to know who she was, what
Right.
she was like, stuff like that. So,
Don't feel like you're
it may just
using
be a
them.
difference
Yeah.
in style.
Well, it's a difference
But
of caring versus just trying to get the juice and then be done with the person, and get like the gossip in a sense, or the facts. So I know exactly what you're saying, Melissa. Your live was built with thought and care about what you wanted to talk about, what you didn't want to talk about, because you wanted to be very respectful, to the family and to Saneika, type of thing. And like I said, yes, there was a couple questions like you asked her, I asked her, because she did say, ask me whatever. But the gist of it was, tell us about who Kei'mani was, because that's very important, right? I mean, honestly, it is. If you're not asking those questions, then you're not a very good person in your heart, to be honest with you. If you're not saying, if you're not asking somebody about that stuff, because that's the most important part of this, is that Kei'mani was this beautiful child, and her life was taken away. So now she's not just a story. She's a beautiful child that had a life. And like I said, based on what Saneika said, just a mischievous, fun child. Um, just exuded. You could just tell, though, the aura of this child. Honestly, like that. Every picture I look at, I always, when I look at pictures, you can instantly just feel the vibe of an aura of a person. And she didn't, like, she just like looked happy, 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 And even if she
yeah.
was bounced around and stuff like that, and da 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 da, again, if you're loved, and stuff like that, that's really what helps children the most. It's just, regardless where you are, that you feel loved.
And I do
Hi.
think that Kei'mani thought she, or felt the love, especially
Yeah.
from the aunt and the grandma. That's okay, Tammy. If you go back and watch from the beginning, just start like
Well, 20
minutes
minutes in.
in,
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes in, somewhere in there, because I had some technical
Yeah.
difficulties.
Once live goes whatever, then it can be edited. Once it processes, then it can be edited if you feel like editing it. That was a good chunk of time at the start, though. So yeah, about 20 minutes or so in.
If I can figure it out, I might edit out the first 20 minutes or so. But we had some technical difficulties getting Saneika up here, and then we had technical difficulties because I ended your end of the live. So it's,
I know,
yeah, it was.
and then she had the nerve to end my live stream, because she's a rook and a newbie creator, eh? That was fun. I mean, no, it wasn't fun.
I was trying, dang it.
Yeah, Kei'mani, she is beautiful, Tammy. Very beautiful, absolutely. But go ahead, continue playing if you ready. Do.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. Let's hopefully. I'm hoping the mom's audio clears up a little bit, because there are times it is really hard to hear if I can hear it all. So hopefully it clears up a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got my booster on, so I have it like 150%. So I can typically hear it just fine.
That's my cue to scream into the mic.
Yeah, go ahead.
But she said that my daughter
Mhm.
And she just couldn't take it anymore. She wanted me to get my daughter. We were supposed to be going to court for that, to give me custody of my daughter back, because every place that I've always had space for my daughter. I've always made sure I had means to take care of.
Right. So this abuse, what do you know about this abuse? Because one thing that I'm noticing is that there's a fair consensus from multiple family members that she was getting hit on by the grandmother. Did you know about anything about this, and how long did you know, and what steps did you take outside of, fighting for?
Before that goes any further, there is a difference between abuse and smacking your child on their ass when they deserve it. I'm sorry, but there is a big difference.
Sharon, it's part of the whole TikTok thing or whatever. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that when I
I
was
agree.
listening to the grandma, when I was listening to that grandma, like I said, I wasn't like, I knew what she, like, when someone is being honest and they're speaking from that honest place, right? Just like Michael Jackson did. Same idea, is that, and then people want to take that and twist it like she was some sort of freaking, grandma ass beater of Kei'mani and stuff like that. I'm telling you, old school grandmas that are in their 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, okay? That's from a different time, in a sense. My grandma didn't pull up with bullshit. If you did, you got the freaking wooden spoon across your ass and stuff like that. So people are gonna play on this, embellish this, and the grandma was just being honest. If she would have kept her mouth shut, then all of a sudden it would have been, like, poor grandma. But no, she was trying to be honest, and basically, you know what I mean, when somebody just is asked a question and then they answer it. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the grandma was abuser, because I think people that sit there and preach all this shit all the time, like I said, when you're a grandma from that era and stuff like that, to sit there and ground your child or freaking give them a swack across the mouth sometimes and whatever, that was absolutely normal stuff. Because if you backtalk, a lot of people still do that to this day, the parents. I personally don't do that, but then, like I said, but growing up, I got the belt, I got this thing, type of thing. Very, very normal in a sense when you've done something. But I'm not going to sit there and say that this grandma was like some sort of abuser of Kei'mani. You know, she's a,
For
you can see
me,
she's a very
like
happy
if
child.
if Kei'mani was truly being abused, CBS would have removed her from the home, right? And the
Well, no,
grandma
we
came
don't.
out and said, "Yes, I chastised her. I
Yeah,
smacked her on her butt." CBS
yeah,
has been at my house twice. Like the grandma was all in. Like, I don't care. This
yeah.
doesn't matter. I want my
Mhm.
grandchild. That's all that mattered to her.
Yeah.
And so, for those that want to take the fact that she said she smacked Kei'mani on the butt, okay, it was not abnormal for me to go pick my own switch out at grandma's house and get my butt whooped with a switch, a paddle with holes drilled in it. I've had an extension cord.
No,
I've had wooden
he's different.
spoons. I mean, that is where it's starting to take it a little far, when you start using things like wire hangers and extension cords, right? Taking your hand or swatting your child on their butt is not abuse.
You know, I just think that, like, I'm not even going to get into that part, to be honest with you, because no matter, again, what we say or whatever, there's going to be those people that are going to claim their whole righteous shit, like that their freaking house is not made of glass or whatever, or it's perfect and stuff like that. And I just didn't take that lady at all. I just took her for being honest. She answered an honest question, and then people want to slam her for being honest. She didn't sit there and say, yeah, I just beat her every day and stuff like that. She's just a grandma that was talking. It's from her era, and she was just being truthful. And it's sad
Yeah. And
because,
like Debbie said,
yeah, pardon. It's just ridiculous though. Like I said, if there's common sense people, but I'm not going to get into, the people that are going to try to throw the grandma and everybody underneath the bus. If there was charges again, for that, right? Like I said, then that child would have been probably removed if if the school had called. Some kids at school had said that Kei'mani had bruises on her and stuff like that. Saneika said she
You
was a
played
tomboy.
basketball. That's normal.
I was a tomboy. Frick, I had bruises all over me, and stuff like that. But her
Right?
friends
I
thought it
mean,
was. And you know what? We didn't live in their home, so we don't truly know the answer here. But from my own personal opinion, that was just grandma being honest and truthful, and then getting shit on, just like Michael Jackson, for being honest and truthful. That's how I
I
see that.
fully agree. I fully agree. Grandma was just being truthful,
She's just being
and
truthful.
people are taking it to an extreme. But like Tammy said, we had corporal punishment at school, and when we got home too. You dang right. And I remember one time I was at school, and oh Lord, I can't believe I'm about to tell this story. So my principal at my school was in a wheelchair. He was a paraplegic, I think, because he had use of his hands, but barely. And so he had a motorized wheelchair, and I was in uh, third or fourth grade, and I decided that that was the day I was going to test my luck. And so I told my principal, because I had gotten in trouble and I didn't do what I was accused of, and I guess maybe that's why I decided to be a smartass. And I was getting ready to get a whipping at school. I looked at it because, in my infinite wisdom in the third or fourth grade, thought that this was going to work out somehow in my favor. And I looked at him and I said, "You can hit me if you can catch me." And I took off out the door. Well, this was before school resource officers. We just had guidance counselors and stuff.
Mhm.
And so our
Yeah.
school was kind of this big square. And so you had the square in the middle, which was like the cafeteria and stuff. And then along the outside of that was our classrooms and stuff. So I took off down the hallway thinking, and again, in my infinite wisdom, that the principal was going to get his wheelchair at like full force with his hand. And he wasn't going to be able to catch me. I did not take into account that there were teachers in the hallway and our guidance counselor out there, who was also our track coach. You can see where this story is going. I got caught very quickly. Dang it. So I got the paddle at school. But I had this severe disadvantage. Is my aunt worked at the school in the cafeteria. Both of my grandparents were school bus drivers. I had another aunt that was a teacher's aide. It got home before I got done with the paddling at school that Melissa done got paddled at school, and this is what she did. And I had about a quarter-mile long driveway, and I'm walking up that driveway very slowly because I'm like, how can I get out of this? Because I know it's already reached home. And I get about halfway up the driveway, and the door to the house opens, and I see my dad, who is a farmer and should have been in the field, standing in the doorway. And all I could think is, oh, shit. I've went and done it now, because I knew what was coming. Like, I knew I was about to be in some serious trouble for what I did. But, it's life. It's growing up. You do stupid stuff. But again, it goes back to the grandma was just trying to be honest. Yep, I whooped her butt. She did such and such, and I smacked her on her butt, right? Like, to me, it didn't mean a whole lot. And for me, it seems like, especially the way the mom started off here, like she's going to make it a mountain out of a molehill here. But we'll listen to it. But yeah, I mean, we've all done it. It is what it is.
Yeah, like I said, I just think that there's a huge difference between actual physical abuse besides what a lot of parents do, which is simply discipline. And a lot of people out there still will swack their kid, will still, cuff them across the mouth and stuff like that. because that was a very normal thing to do. You know, for me personally, I mean, like I said, we're talking about grandmother. You honestly think grandma's going to be able to probably take down the 13-year-old? Prob not, to be honest. Probably just typical bruises from being a tomboy. But again, we didn't live in her life.
Tomboy playing basketball.
Yeah. But it's not like you've seen a picture that was a frown on her face, always a beautiful smile. Like of all the pictures that are out there. Just that kid just has a zest for life, you could see. Well, she did. She did until her dad took her life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, the attacks on the grandma did start early, and it's just to stir up drama. And it hurts me to my core that people are so judgmental in that way. I'm not saying, I think you and I have both said that we think, KP is involved in Sebastian, but that is not based on something little. That is based on the totality of circumstances.
Absolutely.
And we don't have that in this case.
And some of it out of his own mouth, right? But that's, like I said, there was enough of being said through him, through Nina, right? And stuff like that, through, like I said, to justify it. And like I said, it's not like it was just Nina. It was other wives that he had as well, right? So, I mean, the guy didn't go through 5 marriages for no reason. Well, he's on number 5. But I'm sure there's probably going to... Well, we'll see if there's going to be a number 6. Because they're probably like thick as thieves together on this one for now. Anyway. Christopher and Katie, that is.
I don't know.
Don't want to sidetrack. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and play this out a little bit more, but I just wanted to make that distinction that I do not personally feel Kei'mani was abused. I think maybe if she was whooped, that's one thing, but I do not feel that she was abused.
Mm-hmm. I think if she was, her auntie would be, not allowing that, to be honest with you. Why is everyone so quiet in here? Because, Sharon, you're talking. Sharon's fault. Well, that's because she's talking in my chat. Here. There. It's because...
Okay, I'm going to play a little bit more of this.
Mm-hmm.
Did a very good job.
That damn bell.
I think that was so that they would be able to do what it was that they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. Again, I still have my parental rights, but because they are guardian, because they are custodian, if they don't give me the go ahead, I can't do anything.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, did you hear about the abuse? Like, how did you know anything about the abuse that the grandmother was doing?
I didn't hear about the abuse until the only thing that I've seen, because I've never even seen my mother hit my daughter other than like a spoon, like a wooden spoon to her hand.
Yep, there you go. See?
I haven't witnessed any of that, and I think that was for a reason.
Hi, Mama.
Bingo.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure that if
my grandma, she had a...
Go ahead.
So my grandma, she had a yardstick. And I remember several times getting my head smacked by that daggum thing.
Yep. Got the yardstick as well. You know what it is, honestly?
It's that generation.
Thank you. I was just going to say. It's that generation versus people's mindsets in this generation, in a sense. Like now, they're like, everything is about being a freaking fluff pillow, really. I mean, honestly. Everybody's claiming abuse or claiming some sort of mental health crap going on. Like, honestly, this is the most suckiest time that I've had to endure, is watching how it is, how it's been in these last quite a few years and stuff like that. And let's get to reality. Life was different again during grandma's age. They did my spoon, the freaking, like you said, the yardstick, freaking belt, and stuff like that. This child wasn't abused. She was loved, you could tell. That child's happy.
Yeah, it was.
That child's not sad.
Exactly. Belt, boots, flip
Yeah,
flop, whatever was close. Yep.
freaking backhand, forehand. My mom always said if looks could kill, I'd win. Because I would give the dirtiest looks.
Anything could be used to whoop my butt, and that was proved multiple times.
Now let's let some of these children spend a month grounded like I got. My friend stole. I was with her, and so my mom. So my friend Lisa Maines growing up was a little klepto fucking maniac. She was always thieving. Anyways, she had stolen these 2 little address books, those little blue, well, this was blue velvet address books, and she gave me one. And I thought, because my mom, because back in the day you use those things. So I thought, okay, well, I'll give it to my mom, right? Well, my older Satan sister comes home from the swimming pool and goes, Mom, that little address book that, that said, well, she would have said Sonia, but I gave you. She was like, she stole that. And then my mom's like, is that true? And I'm like, well, no, I didn't steal it. Lisa stole it. But I just gave you this because she took 2 of them. So she drove my ass back down to the freaking drugstore, made me apologize, and grounded my ass for a month. And I was pissed because I didn't steal it. Yeah, I knew Lisa stole it, but I didn't actually steal it. But anyways, got my ass grounded.
We were guilty by association.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if our friend did it, we were guilty too.
And if you talk back, you damn sure that freaking forehand or backhand was coming across your mouth. Yeah, brat.
The phrase "our parents would knock us into next week" didn't come out of nowhere. Like, it did not come out of thin air. We were knocked into next week.
Isn't that funny how the same expressions get used, eh? It doesn't matter what, like said, Canada, United States, gonna knock you into next week. You say another word, I swear what are you gonna do? What are you gonna? Oh, you're gonna beat my ass? Okay, I'll be good.
That or keep crying and I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Yeah, that
was the other one.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead and play more of her, I suppose. And that bell is gonna be the freaking death of me. Here. There's enough bell for you right there. Freaking bring all the angels around.
And she is your biological mother, because that was in question as well, correct?
That is my biological mother, unfortunately. How they ended up, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Y'all are so loud. I cannot even think straight. Can y'all please? That's why I said go out there and play with them so that they can scream and yell and holler as much as they want. Baby, my head, it's a lot of stuff going on in my head. I cannot focus. Can y'all please step out? Please. I'm not trying to be mean to y'all, but I need y'all out. Please. Go. I'm sorry.
Listen, you're okay. I'm a mother. I don't care about none of that. You do you. It's okay. Go ahead.
Well, is there any other questions?
No, I was saying as far as
I got it.
No, I was saying as far as the abuse and things of that nature. You said that you didn't know anything about it. You just knew about the spoon and stuff like that. That's what you was explaining.
Yeah. About anything. The only thing I've ever seen my mother do to my daughter was hit her with the spoon. But I've recently met a bunch of my family that I didn't know existed, and they didn't know I existed. Apparently, they've been trying to figure out where this light-skinned baby came from.
I was going to say, she likes it.
But what was that?
I was gonna ask Saneika about that, but I didn't. I was because I can tell that Kei'mani, she looks like she's a mix. She has lighter skin for sure. So I wasn't sure because Darnell obviously, right? So obviously there's light skin like this or a different daddy, right?
Yeah.
Because didn't she say
Yeah, I kind of
something?
noticed that too. She's very light.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that she has an actual different dad than this Darnell person. But didn't she say that she was told that he was the father? But it
So
doesn't mean he is.
Darnell is supposed to be the father. Darnell was only not the father when him and Kei'mani's aunt were in, or when Kei'mani's mom Tiara and Darnell were into it, is when he wasn't the father. Any other time he was the father. So,
Yeah.
but I do know I have a cousin, and she's married to an African American man, and their children vary in color. And I had a friend several years ago. She was African American and her husband was white. And they have blonde hair, blue eyed babies, and they did a DNA test and it's his. So,
Oh yeah. But even if
although
you look
Kei'mani
at
is light skinned,
Tiara though, she's got lighter skin. So it's obviously coming from off probably her side there. You know? Like I mean she looks like a mix. She absolutely looks like a mix. To be honest with you.
I don't know. I mean, at first I thought she was, but I think she's just light skinned, honestly.
Yeah, but
But
no, but
that's
there's
just the way
but but no, the features, the features of the face and the eyes, right? That's a mix. I can tell you that. Like I swear, because her eyes and
she might
everything.
be.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I can't really see the mom's face there in that small little thing, so she could very well much look like her mom. But that to me, whenever I see someone with those uh traits or whatever, usually it's because they're a mix of some sort. And which are the most beautiful
But I
kids.
mean,
I don't know that much. I'm sorry, but mixes, they're beautiful. Like seriously, there's something about mixed children that just freaking they just get really blessed with looks on there. But she
they
just
do.
looks so
And she's got the
good.
most beautiful skin tone.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But like I
okay,
said, I
let's play
can't
this
really
out a
see
little
them.
bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Just meeting them, and they have stories on top of stories on top of stories. People that have lived with my mother for months or years on end are telling me what they've witnessed. So
Can you explain your sister? Apparently, your sister went on the news and she said that you never around and you only came around because you were fussing about the child support and $900. Can you explain why she would go on the news and portray it that way, or why she would say that you were never around?
I don't deal with my sister first off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk to her if if she don't talk to me. I raised all my little sisters and brothers. I was the protector. I was the provider for them when we were in foster care. And I put myself in harm's way to make sure that they didn't have to go through the things that I went through. I don't talk to our family is not tight knit. So I don't really speak to her that often. But that is not the same energy that she had when she called me and told me that my baby was missing. Because she's the one that let me know.
Okay.
I had no idea. I don't do social media.
Understandable. Now, there's another misconception, or some that's getting people a little bit confused as well, is that people were going around, and I'm just here because I've been watching it from the very beginning. So don't think I'm just someone that just hopped of it and don't know anything. People are saying that is Kei'mani, is this her biological father? Okay, and would you know why people are saying it's someone else? They were saying that the grandmother said it's not, or something like that.
So they said that my mom said that. Where she got that from, I'm not sure. But I mean, shit. People are also saying that my mom and my daughter's dad have been sleeping together this whole time too. So I don't know.
I personally highly doubt that. There's
I know,
any
right?
factuality to
That's coming
the
up.
latter part of that statement. But
Yeah.
she just said that Mr. Jones, and I hate to say it that way, it is her biological father. So
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, who knows? Hmm. She says it is, then whatever. You know.
but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether he was the biological father, the stepfather, the play father, whatever you want to consider it. If he considered Kei'mani his, then the SA of her, the nearly decapitating, the
This
removing of her hands, you cannot do that to your own blood. I just,
well, look.
I mean, I guess you can because there's plenty of people who have, but it just sickens me that you could do that to somebody you consider.
Well, sorry about that. Look at the African Soto case, right? Madeline Soto. I mean, like that's just sick. That's just sick, Stefan. Like, I know that he
And
wasn't the
Tammy,
father.
I agree. I don't like her saying it either, but this is, I think, the way Sunny put it. This is her perception. I don't personally like it. I don't personally believe it. But like, Sunny pointed out, this is her perception. You got anything else or play it out?
Play it out. I'm having a coughing little fit here.
And you just learned that they were dealing with each other on a personal note. That's crazy, and I'm so sorry.
If it like the only time I really talk to my mother or my child's father is if it's concerning my child. If you tell me my kid needs something, I got it. If you tell me my kid wants to do something, I got it. If my kid is short on something or shit, if the house is short on something where my baby is residing, I'm going to make sure I take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
There has been times my mother has called me legitimately 3 days in a row. The last time she did this, I was homeless.
Mute yourself, Nutbuster. Mute yourself.
She called me the first day.
Okay. Go ahead.
There was the last time she called me and was asking for money back to back was when I was homeless. I was literally living in my car, had nowhere to go. And she called me one day and was like, hey, I need like $600. We ain't got no food in this house. I said, okay. She called me the next day. Hey, I need $300. $100. I'm trying to do something for Kei'mani's birthday. Okay. She called me the day after. Hey, can you send me 60? I'm $60 short for her cake. No, I can't, because now I'm flat broke.
Wow. So it was just always.
If you call me and tell me my kid needs something, call me and tell me my. It's always been about money.
Wow.
But regardless of that, like I said, my only concern has been I don't care about the money. Money comes and goes.
Yeah. So they were saying so that this house that your mother lived in, I've heard that your mother was on drugs. I've heard that it was pedophiles and pimps and crackheads living in there. Was she treating this house like a boarding house for the community?
I honestly, I know this is the mother's perspective. I get that. But I don't know how much more of the downing the family and throwing shade and throwing dirt and just what I consider to be outright lies I can handle. I don't.
I see it really as this. For the people, like we always said, like for instance, like Derek German, like, hey, this is your daughter, like speak type of thing. So I mean, I appreciate any information. So even if it's clarifying, even if it's from her perspective, doesn't make it true necessarily, right? It's her side, just like it would be the grandma side and whatever side. I get it. I get what she's doing. I mean, she's just trying to clear up some of these things that are being said. And if they can get quashed, right, then so be it. Um, for the fact that the mother really wasn't in her daughter's life, I think that this is, I don't want to take away from a mother's pain and stuff like that, of course, but I think there's a difference when you're very close to a child and then to sit there and go on a TikTok and be able to talk about this stuff. But because I take it as more of a distance thing, um, I'm just taking it as somebody just asking the questions that are out there and seeing what her version of it, of her truth is or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, she just wrote down a bunch of questions you can tell that are based on what people are saying out there. A little bit on the harsh side of, stuff like this one that she's just saying right now, to be honest with you, where you're just almost like cringing a bit. But again, if the mother is willing to talk to somebody on TikTok, and willing to answer these questions, so be it. I mean, I'd rather hear from the horse's mouth than anything. So for me, I ain't so against it because we all know that like people do things for whatever reasons. But for me, it was kind of like Sebastian's case. You know what, Christopher? You're a big, you know what you are type of person. And the more you talk, the more you tell us. So
True.
I'm just listening to what she's saying. It's not that I'm taking her what she's saying to be believable. Um, Obviously, there's reasons why she didn't have her child. Like she had said, but she felt like she had all this and all that. But I'm sure there's stuff that warranted why her Kei'mani was not with her. But anyways, so.
I mean, I'm gonna play it out. I mean, we're gonna go ahead and listen to it. Take your time, Sharon. But I want to preference that by saying I take what Tiara is saying with very little impact on how I feel, because when I listen to the aunt and the grandma talk, I feel more connected. I
Absolutely.
feel like they're being more truthful.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, exactly. I think that, like again, when somebody is not in a child's life, and like she said, she's not really speaking to her sister unless she has to, or her mother, it seems like. It's almost like someone giving views but doesn't really know, like the actual truth. Because like she said, like there's family members that have no clue who she is. So it's obviously a very broken family there with mom Tiara, or however you say it.
I think
But
it's
anyway, just
Tiara, but I'm not sure.
Tiara, probably Tiara, yeah. I think sounds more white if you say Tiara for someone, because that's like the girl that I know, her name's Tiara, but I think it's Tiara. Yeah, probably how she would
All right.
say it.
Well, I just wanted to preference that by
I
saying I
know,
take
I
very
know.
little in what the mom is saying here.
Yeah, I get it. But like I said, I don't really find this questioning, like, I mean, some of the questions are a little bit okay, like the one she just asking now. Hey, Mark. But honestly, because the mom's obviously been distant from her own daughter, it's kind of like I'm not taking this that harshly by the interviewer because of that reason, to be honest. Now, if she was asking this to say, Saneika, type of thing, I probably would have been found it a little bit more offensive to be asking stuff like certain very insensitive questions. But because the mother is not very close with her daughter, um, I'm just taking it as that.
And I guess that's really the word I was looking for, the insensitiveness of it. It's just like, this was done yesterday. So this was done on her daughter's, what would have been 14th birthday. It's like, wow, the insensitiveness of it. The questions that are being asked. And I mean, I guess they are important questions because they are things that are out there. And I guess it is more of a let's dispel things. But take it with a grain of salt because this is coming from a woman that wasn't in the child's life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go ahead, play, I suppose.
What do you know about that, of the people that were coming in and out this household?
I didn't know about the crackheads and all of that mess until after I got here. I only found out about Wayne, my little brother's dad, staying at my mother's house when he got out because my dad called me and told me. And I asked her why he was there. And I told her that I was uncomfortable with him being there because he just did 22, 23 years and ain't seen a woman. I don't want him nowhere near my kid.
And he's a registered sex offender, correct?
That was staying at that house, from what I knew, was family.
No, I'm saying, but Wayne, he was a registered sex offender. That's what he was in the penitentiary for, right?
No, Wayne was in the penitentiary because he killed somebody over 50 cents in a slice of pizza. So,
did she really just say he killed a man over 50 cents in a slice of pizza?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
Mental health, top tier,
Wow. Okay, so now that all of this is out and things of that nature, right? I know that the day before she went missing, she was at your house because you had the birthday party for your other daughter. And you said that you gave her some money and then you also gave the father some money. Now, here's what kind of had me confused is because they were saying that you really didn't get a chance to see your baby for a lot of years. Is that correct?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's incorrect. My daughter was at my house on the 15th, Saturday the 15th. Her and her sister had already spent the week up here together because I have a 4-year-old. She was up here with Kei'mani for a whole week before that. My daughter's dad got permission from my mother to bring Kei'mani to me on Saturday the 15th. That had nothing to do with no birthdays. I don't know where people keep getting that from, but that's not what I said. She came up to see me because, again, I'm paying child support. I still have my parental rights. So that was my visit. But she sat with me hours. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess my mother wanted her home before the night was over for whatever reason. But they stayed for 2 hours. We played the video game. We joked, we played. We had a good time.
Okay.
We had a good time.
Okay, Spicy, I did say that. I'm sorry to interrupt. I did say that because I knew Zaza's birthday was on the 17th. And I was just like asking you because you were getting stuff together for her birthday on the weekend. So yeah, I did say that.
Okay, it was the weekend. Okay. And so he came and took her there and then took her back home. Now, do you guys even, let me ask you this, maybe you would know. Do you guys even know if she even ever made it back home?
I don't know. From what I was told, she was home because she went to school on Monday. The kids at her school vouched, yes, she was here, and she walked with us to school. We had lunch, and she walked with us after school. She went home.
Okay. Wow. All righty.
There's there's that she walks to school with.
Mhm.
If she doesn't get on the bus, a group of kids that she walks home with if she doesn't get on the bus.
Okay. Now, can you give
But
us
she
some clarity
wasn't.
on this timeline? When was she officially reported missing? I think that's also some inconsistencies in that for people too.
I don't know when she was officially reported missing. Um, so from what I understand, from what was told to me, she went missing Tuesday. My mother claims that she noticed that she figured out that my daughter was missing when she got home, which was supposed to have been 10 o'clock. But apparently she still had not reported it at that time. She called my cousin Kat, which is Big Cat on Facebook. I'm sure you guys have seen her today. I don't know if that any part of that is true. But I did not find out until almost 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Like I said, my sister, the same one that's on the news talking crazy now, is the one that even let me know that my daughter was missing.
Okay, so that stuck out to me for. So she was reported the 18th, which is the same day that the mother found out she was missing, right? So
18th is a Tuesday.
they basically, essentially, went through. We've reported her missing. She's officially missing. She's still not back home by the afternoon when she should be after school. Now we're going to call the mom. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Correct? I don't either.
But it's being made to sound like she wasn't informed in enough time. Well, do you want to be informed when it's not even official that she's missing yet? Like what is it she was expecting? It sounds to me like she was informed in a timely manner.
Yeah, I would agree, to be honest with you. You're gonna sit there and try to find the child and whatever first, typically, and then
Yeah, I mean,
once it becomes to that point, that's when, obviously you report them missing or whatever. But then that's when I would be calling the mom and saying, like, kind of like with Sebastian there, like, we'll just use that based on if the timeline is correct and whatever. But you know, Katie's looking for him. Calls Christopher, and then at what was it, 6:20? Was it 6:20? Was it 6:20? Seth got a phone call or whatever, or a message or whatever, 911 or something like that.
yeah.
Because obviously, so obviously there's more time when it's about school and being in school, and then the child doesn't show up and whatever, but you're gonna sit there and try to find them. Yeah. And because the mother's not really in her life, like, do you know what I mean? You're not going to jump the gun. Simple as that.
No.
So,
No,
but
and so for me it's like
I can see where the mom's coming from, though, because no matter what, it's like, why didn't you tell me right away? I get that. I mean, I do get that. But again, kind of like, typically you're going to sit there and try to see if the child's actually missing or not first before you worry people.
Yeah, and that's
So,
what I was going to say. For me, it's like you want to verify that the child really is missing, right? And not
correct.
just down the street playing basketball or
Or,
talking to a friend.
yeah.
Okay, so there's about 5 minutes left of this. Let's play out a little bit more and then we can talk.
My mother did not call me about anything, even remotely related to my kid, until Thursday. The Thursday after she went missing at 3:49 p.m.
Wow. So this is kind of, thank you guys for the.
Wait, did she just say that it was Thursday?
Okay, so the sister, this is the timeline that I'm understanding from the mom, is the sister called her on Tuesday around 4 and told her that Kei'mani was missing. The
Right.
mom, Dorothy, didn't talk to her about anything until Thursday. Well, first of all, she's going to be dealing with police officers and everything else and trying to get all this stuff together. The sister was talking to her, which one
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right.
So it's not like she was uninformed for 2 days,
Right. Right. It's
which
just
I
that the
think
mom,
is where the misconception.
yeah, but the mom
Yes,
didn't
which I think
talk
is
to,
where the misconception came in.
right.
So
I mean,
to me,
like,
that's still not unusual. What about you?
um, not well. Again, I guess it really depends on everything. To be honest with you, again, I mean, if it was one of those things that she went missing on Tuesday and she wasn't informed till Thursday, but that's not the case here. It was she was informed on the Tuesday, but her mom, and again, depends on the relationship too. But the mom, like I said, because if the mom knows that the daughter is already speaking to her, in a sense, and she's dealing with shit and stuff like that, sometimes it just gets associated that, like, if I tell my brother something, and I just instantly think that if he says he's talking to my sister, you know again, think like, okay, so you're keeping her informed or whatever, da 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 da. And I mean, that's how kind of I see that, then, more so. I mean, it might be hurtful because you know how it. I mean, this is exactly how things in families, regardless, can get misconstrued or whatever. Because maybe the mom was possibly thinking, well, like, my other daughter's talking to her and da 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 da, about uh, Kei'mani. So, meaning she's just already basically thinking like she's already being talked to, and she's going about the other stuff and whatever, and not thinking much more about it that way. Whereas from the daughter's perspective, right, and this is how families get into these freaking spats and different things, because she's taking it more to heart than probably what was intended by the mother. And so she's feeling kind of like, well, I didn't hear it from my mother till like Thursday and whatever. And like, basically, like, almost like, so like basically, like, what kind of mother does that? Like, seriously, you should have been, so this is how things easily get misconstrued in families and turn into something a lot huger, and that because of the different perceptions.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times, like, okay, like with my cousin this morning, it went from my cousin's husband to my uncle. Then my uncle delivered that message to the rest of the family. So, was I informed within an hour? No, probably not. It was a couple hours later that it went from my uncle informing my dad, who informed me that my
Right.
cousin had passed away this morning, right? So, yeah, I mean, in families, a lot of times, if there's one person that needs to be dealing with, in this case, the cops and the detectives and trying to get in touch with friends and stuff, and somebody else in the family, the sister, is informing everybody, I don't think that's necessarily uncommon. But you're right, I can see where the sister would then be like, well, my sister was talking to me, but mom what?
Right. And the thing is that I always try to look at things from both sides of the fence, right? How because again, this happens in everyday families, like my own included, where, something trivial you think is trivial turns out to mean a lot to the other person. But you don't know that you hurt their feelings, or you did this or you did that, until you realize that maybe they're not speaking to you, or they're pissed off at you and whatever. And you're like, what for? And it's kind of like, I mean, I can say the same thing even with my own son, right? It's the same thing. It's like his his dad can sit there and keep saying that, your mom's a piece of shit. Your mom thinks she has a halo on her head and all that stuff and whatever, and if he wants to believe that, like, that's my son's perception, for instance, is that for some reason I abandoned him, and I did this and I did that, almost like I was the root of the cause type of thing. But it's like, I know the truth. So it's kind of like, I have to always look at my son's side of it, because regardless, his feelings matter, and that's in here. Her feelings matter to her, how she's feeling, but the mom might have not felt that there was anything wrong with what had gone on there. But to the daughter, she might feel somewhat slighted by the mother, so like I said, I always try to look at both sides, because again, you know, everyone has different thoughts and feelings about things, and I can see that obviously this has happened in this particular case here. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's definitely more of a case of perception rather than intention.
right.
Like,
Right.
it's not that the mom wasn't intentionally telling her, it's just that that's the perception the mom
She was just,
has.
yeah. I mean, I know we don't know what exactly it was, but kind of just using basic, knowledge, you would just kind of think that, well, if the daughter's talking, to her, then she's, like, set off and doing other things. Probably wasn't thinking much about it, because she's already being dealt with by this family member, meaning the mother, type of thing. And so, yeah, but you can see obviously it's bugged her, right? Because or else she wouldn't bring it up. Anyway, play it out.
Yeah, and I mean, I can understand that, like, like I said with my cousin, I mean, I could take it. I understand that in our family we have this chain reaction. Something happens, one person is in charge kind of getting in, with everybody, and this is what happened, and one person is dealing with whatever happened. So I can see her saying, I mean, as a mother myself, and as you can say, from being a mom, I'd rather be informed by the other person personally, but you also have to have the understanding there of this is how they see it.
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? It's so different than Sebastian Rogers' case, right? I do try to look at it from all angles of each individual, right? Um, Meaning it's not like I'm oblivious to, say, Christopher Proudfoot and stuff like that, or Katie and stuff, but I try to look at everything that they're saying, right? And thinking, but still thinking logically, what sounds right to the ear, like Grandma always said, and what smells like bullshit and stuff like that, right? And then, like I said, just draw my own, perception of what I'm seeing and stuff like that. But I always try to look at the different angles, even in Delphi, right? Even in Delphi, like, as much as I picked, KD, type of thing, and thought I was so spot on and so freaking right, like honestly, I really thought I was doing my due diligence. It made sense, absolutely made sense to Garrett Kurtz, and his friend being, at the time we thought it was a few people. Anyways, definitely a learning curve, but it never stopped me from still looking at potential others, for sure. I mean, it wasn't like I just targeted KD right away. I was looking at the images of all these suspects that they had, and I was just trying to match something, right? And eerily enough, Kagan Dunker and uh, Richard Allen, honestly, very much spitting images of each other. If you look at Kagan Dunker for his age and Richard Allen, they have that little butt chin a little bit there, but meaning, honestly, I would have said for sure that they were brothers. When you look at the two pictures of each of them, it was crazy to me. But anyways, bottom line is, I always like to look at everything. I always like to put myself in somebody else's shoes, you know. I mean, it's kind of hard to put myself in a narcissistic shoes when I'm not narcissistic, but I can sure smell those people a mile away. It's like a freaking dirty dozen on those ones. They're just like Anthony Greeno, you know. No offense, Anthony, if you're watching this, but same thing. You smell a snake a mile away. You can just tell. But anyway, go ahead, Missy, play it out.
All right, we're just about done with this.
Is Anthony
Gifts, I
Greeno
appreciate
still around?
So now that we are in, your sister had went into the news, and she also had mentioned so when your sister, when she was on the news, and she basically is saying that you never around, there's also some allegations that your sister was one that was a part of the things that was going on in the house. Have you heard anything about your sister leaving your daughter out while they leave the house for hours throughout the day, and she had nowhere to go? Have you heard those allegations yet?
Don't know nothing about that. I know that I have been told that apparently my sister's son, my nephew RJ, was apparently touching my baby as well. And my cousins told me that as well. No, my mother has not talked to me about this. My sister has not brought this to my attention. The people that are responsible for taking care of her are the people that should be telling me what's going on. When something's wrong, regardless of how big or how little it is, you should be letting me know. That is still my child. I still care for her. I still love her. Still go above and beyond for
Now,
her.
can you pause that for
And
one
how
sec?
old was this son
But it's
of
the fact.
hers?
Okay, so when Saneika was on here earlier, and now I just want to play of course, the two sides, because Saneika had said, "Look, there was no signs, there was no nothing, you know, about anything, that was different." And like, I know that she was talking about like the father and stuff like that, but I mean, in general, it's like when she was saying that, like, obviously, I think if there was signs of this, and the thing is that we don't know for sure, right? We don't know exactly whatever. But again, there's two sides to the story, but it's like she's hearing third hand information. She's not hearing it from her mother or her sister. She's hearing it from other people that are saying this. So that's where I take it with a grain of salt more so, because it's not coming from the grandmother, or not to say that stuff can't happen. It does, right? For sure. Um, my brother's ex, her own, her stepfather molested her, and the mother, basically, because they were well off, and she didn't want to destroy her marriage, so basically she hushed, uh, you know, um, I won't use the name, but my brother's ex at the time, and which is my nephew. They have a child together. But anyways, but like that sick, twisted shit, can happen in families. Who knows? Like we don't really know the answer to that, but you know, I don't know. I guess I think time will tell some more things to this case, for sure. And I kind of hope that the dad of Kei'mani does tell the truth of, why, because that's really sick. I don't know, because that's a whole fucking ego thing you're talking about there, like pedos, try not to, of course, show that they're pedos. So I don't know about the truth ever coming out from him or not, because that's a very sick and twisted fucking thing to do to your child. And then to do what happened after that is just beyond belief. But I don't know if he's ever gonna speak the truth, because that would be admitting that he's a big piece of shit, and that he was a child, molester of his daughter, and sick, twisted. Oh, I can't even think that how someone could do this. I don't care if it's your step kid or not, or it's whatever. Like, these I can't. I can't. It's just so gross.
I mean, what he did to her in those final moments, not only is it horrible and grotesque and just absolutely terrifying to think of her going through that. This is somebody that she trusted, right? And in her final moments, it was the person, one of the people that she trusted that was betraying her. It's not like somebody broke in the home, which is what I initially thought it was. I will admit, when I did my first video on this, I thought that this was a stranger abduction.
Right.
And I even said, I know they're rare, but to me, this feels like a stranger abduction. This doesn't feel like something a parent would do.
Mm.
And then to find out that it's the POS, that did it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I give those cops props because they did not shoot to kill him. They shot him good enough to wound him to get him in custody so that he could face these charges.
That part I'm not really so sure about, to be honest, because he was shot 3 times. I mean, he was shot in the arm, chest, and leg.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could have just simply been the angle. If you watch that video, though, like when you're watching it, I mean, it's pretty quick that Darnell goes to go like this, and the cop is basically like, choo, 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 So I don't necessarily know that it was that. I think that he just got fucking lucky is what he got. I should say we got lucky by him being alive instead of, losing his life. But I that's not how I personally saw that, because it was very quick that Darnell went to go into his pocket and then the cops just shot, type of thing. And to me, that's just kind of gut reaction. And maybe you're aiming towards the leg or the whatever side, but when somebody's going to point a gun at you, you're usually not going, let me just see if I can hit him in the leg, versus.
Well, when you're trained to shoot center mass, which is the chest area, the torso, the center part of your body.
Yeah.
So when, and this is coming when I worked in the police department, we were trained to shoot center mass. So for him to be shot in the arm, which most likely was a through and through, which is what ended up getting him in the chest, and to be shot in the leg, those are not either that officer's gun sight is seriously off and he's a bad shot, or they were intentional shots, not lethal shots.
Maybe.
Possibly. I know. I didn't see a gun at first. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see the gun. It took me slowing the video down. It's like, oh, okay, so he did have a gun. And then they did the frame by frame.
I was going to say, because,
and showed him with a gun in his hand.
Well, I was going to say, like, when that video was playing that I watched, he said, the one police officer said, he's got a gun. And then I was confused because he said, no, that's a walkie-talkie. The gun's right over there. And he goes, that's a walkie-talkie. And I'm like, so that's when I was listening to that, and I probably have to listen to it again, but that's what I remember the cop saying was like, because he goes, like something like, does he have a gun? And he was whatever. And then it was almost like, yeah, he has a gun. And then it's like, no, that's a walkie-talkie. That's the gun over here, but that's the walkie-talkie. Did you hear that? Do you remember hearing that?
I remember hearing something about the gun being over there, but I was honestly paying more attention to the actions as opposed to the words. But I am going to link in this video the interview here with the mother. I will link another video of which is kind of a combination of a bunch of different things that we know so far, and I will link the video of him getting shot in this video at the end.
Yeah. How long's the new interview with the you said the mother. Okay, sorry. I thought you had said that the grandmother had done a new interview, but you meant that you were talking about the mother. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. I got
The ones that have come out so far is this video that I know of as of right before this live was this
Mhm.
video yesterday with Tiara and then Saneika, who came up here earlier. Those
Yeah.
are the only family members I know so far that have come out.
Okay. Well, let's finish this one off, and then we got to get going probably here because I need a little relaxed time before I have to get up and work in the morning here, and I'm getting cold, and I'm getting hungry. I got some pumpkin pie there waiting for me. Cool. That was, what I was hoping that you'd ask her, and I meant to ask her was, did Kei'mani like to cook? She said she liked home cooked meals, but did she actually like to cook herself? Yeah, on there. But okie dokie.
She was a helper, so I can only assume that if
I
she
think
liked home
so.
cooked meals, she helped cook
Yeah,
them.
yeah, home cooked meals. Absolutely.
How old is her son?
I spoke to them every time I spoke to my child, every time I spoke to my child, every time I spoke to my mother, every time I spoke to my child's father, everything seemed normal. And I ask questions. I want to know what's going on. And I think my daughter just didn't say anything out of fear.
Yeah, possibly very scared. Then who could she really go to now? I want to also get an understanding of the father as well. There's old videos popping up of him, and I'm trying to get an understanding of his character, because I remember your other video when you first did the interview with Nutbuster, and you said, that he wouldn't do anything like this. What do you think happened?
I've known this man since I was 19 years old. I am a girl's girl and always have been a girl's girl even before that was coined. If somebody would have came to me and told me that this was something that he was into, or this was something that he could have had the potential to do, or they thought he did it or whatever, I'm going to stand by them. If any woman would have approached me and been like, hey, he's fucking weird, I would have taken heed to that. I have never heard of him doing anything of the sort. Even some of my cousins went to school with him. They said he was a square, has always been a square. So none of this was, I wasn't expecting him to have anything to do with this, but I can't say I put anything past anybody. As of right now, everybody's fucking guilty, and I don't care. So, and you can listen, and I see y'all in the comments. Y'all can talk about all y'all want, but at the end of the day, I'm doing what I have to do to make sure that my baby gets a proper burial. I'm trying to do what I have to do to make sure that my kid is.
You don't have to reply to them, okay?
I'm not about to put on no show for y'all. I will grieve when I have time to grieve. Right now, there's other things I need to take care of. I have a young child with me. My child.
Y'all do not attack her. Do not attack her. I don't hold on. Give me 1 second. Not Buster. Give me 1 second. I don't know who all y'all is that's in the comments, but this is Savage Royalties Live, okay? This is not like any other body's live on here, okay? This woman, regardless of how y'all feel, lost a child. Do not disrespect her in my comments. You can take that to somebody else's live. Do not you can't tell her how to feel. You can't tell her. Do not do that over here. Do not, please, out of respect for me. You can have your own feelings, but respect my live. I don't have admins because people know I don't play them games.
I want to give her props right there, because coming after the family, no matter how you feel in this situation, there's only one person anybody should be going after. And it's not the mom, it's not the aunt, it's not the grandma. It's the POS that took her life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, I think as well she's being fed a bunch of information, and I don't know how truthful that information is, to be honest with you. With regards to Saneika's son, I believe it is there that they're referring to, with Kei'mani and stuff like that. But it just sounds so far. It does sound like a lot of people coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden. They weren't in the woodwork at all then for Kei'mani if they knew this stuff. So shame on you people. If people knew stuff and didn't say anything, you know. So I think
And
this
I
is just
don't,
people coming out of the woodwork though, and then saying all that. I'm taking it with a grain of salt for sure.
and I don't believe, after talking to Saneika, she doesn't seem like the type of parent that if something were going on, she would put a child in that situation. I don't believe it. But like you said earlier, it's like secondhand information. So it's like double hearsay because somebody is telling somebody and somebody is telling her. And so if you ever played the game telephone in school, right?
Yep.
You whisper something in somebody's ear, and by the time it gets to the end, even if it's 3 or 4 people later, it is totally not what was originally said.
Yeah, it's usually some variation. Because we actually played that game at work recently, just for the sake of it, as we were in a skills session. But anyways, yes, and that's how we felt too about like Delphi. You want to have your opinions, okay, but don't come in here shit on the family and stuff like that. Just I get it that people might have thoughts, but it's one thing to put it in a certain way. But yeah, uh, you wouldn't like it if somebody told you how to feel, how to be, and all that stuff. That's why when people get on their high horses with that shit about like morals and what my moral compass is, don't put your moral compasses on me, because uh, for me, I already know, like myself, I'm a really good person. I know that, and my morals might not be somebody else's, but when people try to tell me what to do, how to be, how to do my hair, how to wear clothes or whatever and stuff like that, I could give two shits about that stuff, because it's nobody, like, meaning I would never do that to somebody else, right? Tell somebody how to feel about something. Just like my son, I don't tell him how to feel. I try to tell him the truth, but I obviously I can't tell him how to feel. It's his feelings, you know. And if he wants to work through them and stuff like that, and then so be it. I'll always be there for him. But he's not. He's kind of like his father that way. I probably took on that too. Doesn't really talk about his feelings. Most guys don't too much, but that I'm so. Anyways, back to the point was, you know, um, absolutely, because I'm sure there is people are just nasty in those comments on that TikTok video. I'm sure a lot of them, because they're just judging right away without knowing. And like I said, I mean, I'll call a spade if I feel like one is a spade type of thing. You know, um, we all know there's plenty of mothers out there that have their child either taken away from them for whatever reasons. Maybe because they were into drugs or alcohol or whatever, and they weren't being able to provide properly for their children, and children deserve that. They deserve to be brought in this world and do that. But at the end of the day, honestly, I'm not even judging the mom here whatsoever. you know this stuff happens in people's lives all the time, and at the end of the day, this is somebody's child. She's the actual biological mother regardless, and the pain of losing that child, and people just online have no respect for boundaries of that stuff. Most times they don't care. A lot of people don't care what they say, what comes out of their mouth, because they're behind a computer. And that's why I was trying to,
And
I
for
hope,
me,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's what I was trying to say to Saneika, like knowing what we know, you know, these trolls don't matter at all. They're insignificant. They mean nothing. And but it is hurtful, right? Obviously, when you're seeing people twist everything, and it during somebody's death, and they're just twisting information because they have no boundaries or respect when they're online, you know. And to me, I act the same way here. Well, the only thing is, I'll probably say I can be more vocal on here because there's a lot more idiots that I have to deal with online than I do within real life. Other than that, just, like I said, chill type nature, whatever. Um, but anyway, what were you gonna say?
So,
I
I
just
mean,
looked
for
at the date.
me, even if the grandmother was beating the living tar out of Kei'mani, right? Even if I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying, even if she was leaving bruises, even if the mother is not there, right? That doesn't matter because Kei'mani isn't here, and Kei'mani is who matters. So, who was in her life or who was doing what really doesn't matter to me. They're both victims. The mom is a victim, the aunt, the grandma, they're all victims of what this POS did to Kei'mani, right? Everybody loved Kei'mani. I believe wholeheartedly the mom loved her. I believe that the aunt and grandma
Absolutely.
loved her. So even though I take what the mom is saying in this with a very large grain of salt, right? Because I don't believe
Hand
that
information.
Saneika's child did any of that. I don't believe she was being abused, any of that. It's still her perception. She's still a victim. And for families, people going after the family, you know, it's uncalled for. Unlike in Sebastian's case, where we feel a certain way about the Proud
Well,
Feet
because
because of their own statements.
their statements, their actions, absolutely, right? I mean, like I said, for a long time on Sebastian's case, we would talk about it and it wasn't being accusatory. And so when Christopher Proudfoot's sister Melissa had come into the chat or whatever, and she started going off on me, right? I went up one side of her and down the other because I'm not about to take any bullshit because we had never said anything at all that the Proudfoots had anything to do with the disappearance. We didn't know, you know, like meaning at this point, like I said, we're just trying to figure out, like about how could this have happened and da 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 da. And at the end of the day, although Christopher Proudfoot came off as very um, controlling, and then he became a real jerk. I remember on Smiley's World where he's just very aggressive, and and I know his type, but over time, again, it's not even the fact of did Chris or Katie have anything to do with Sebastian Rogers? They might very well have, and they might very well not have. But their personalities, especially Christopher Proudfoot, he has shown what he's a liar. He has shown that he's manipulative. He has shown that to us. That's a difference. That's a kind of like a different ball of wax on there. So when that happens, absolutely, absolutely, I will sit there and attack a narcissist that's full of themselves and a liar and full, and a child's missing, and this is what's happening, because as a parent, I would be embarrassed beyond repair to act like Katie has been doing and to act like Christopher Proudfoot making a mockery out of Sebastian Rogers' case and for his own mother, right? To literally, like I said, not hold a picture, not scream from the rooftops, let Christopher Proudfoot speak to her when she was the last one with him. These are all red flags, right? And so either they're the guiltiest, innocent people ever, but at the end of the day, when it comes to motherhood, parenthood, and stuff like that, I'll be very vocal. And I don't believe in abusing children at all. You know, I know that, people still smack their children and whatever. It's not my way, you know, and I'm that's kind of thing is normal. I just don't agree with hitting a child somehow makes them understand, you know what I mean? Besides, they could abuse a wife later or something like that, or become like punching later on their boyfriend and different things like that. So I just don't agree that hitting a child equates to a punishment, right? That's my own personal stance myself. But yet, am I realistic that knowing that children get spankings and stuff like that or swats, and stuff? Absolutely, of course. It's just my way that I don't believe. So, this is very tough, another tough case. Well, it's not even a case because obviously, I mean, it's a story, whatever. Um, but children, um, I'll always be a voice when it comes to the children, first and foremost. And this is Kei'mani. She's no longer here. You know, people, they'll lose sight of that because they're too busy focusing on um, inaccurate facts that are going to happen, of course, with this case. Beautiful girl, just a beautiful girl. And that dog's name's Passion. For anyone that is not comes across this live, the dog lives with the grandma, and she says, Saneika said that Passion has been like more whimpering and whining. Dogs know, animals know, animals know, especially
That
dogs.
was her best friend.
Dogs are very in tuned, for sure. Even cats too. Um, I mean, I remember when one of the cats went missing for a week. Not the two that I have now, but another two. And you know, you can just watch their personalities change. Because they know that something is off or something's different. And dogs, especially, to me, dogs are just like freaking little human beings. They're just so
And dogs do.
smart.
I don't know about cats because I've only ever been around a couple cats because
Yeah.
I can't handle cats because I'm allergic. But
They just pretend to be dumb cats.
I
They're,
know dogs mourn. Like they really truly mourn the loss
yeah.
of a person. Like especially if
Oh,
it's somebody that's there. And like Saneika said, they were best friends, her and the dog.
yeah. I remember when Blue, and that's when I was talking about, got lost for a week when we moved to White Court, and I was so sad because I Blue was an abused cat, and it took me 2 weeks to get Blue to come out from underneath the bed, and I would take food and go underneath the bed, or like lie at the end of the bed and bring the food, and then Blue trusted me. So when that week, this is years later, but that week that Blue went missing, we got a phone call because thankfully Blue had a tag. And so we went to the veterinary place. And I'll tell you, Blue clung to me like, Mommy, don't ever do this to me again. Like, Blue just clung to me, knowing full well that, I was his protector. I knew I was his protector, but it was just the way he clung on to me so badly. Like he was so scared. But once he was in my arms, it's like a child, like, don't let me go, don't let me go ever again. Uh, you know, love animals too. Don't
A
necessarily like
lot of people will say animals don't have feelings. Yes, they do. Yes,
absolutely.
I will fight with
Freaking
you until the cows come home because yes, they do.
yeah, yeah. They got memories too. I think if I'm not mistaken, someone said cats have like but a 3 year memory span. You know, but anyways, animals, children, they will always have my heart over any other humans. Well, then the elderly next, and then the people in the middle somewhere. But
I
anyways, there's
asked Morris,
only
I said, "Do you have a good memory?" And he just looked at me like, "Would you shut up, woman?"
just I know that there's only like about a minute left of that video.
Yep, let's play this out and get it done. Oh, I gotta remember that. And
Mm-hmm.
then we can chat about the last of it and then close it
Sure,
out.
sure.
Go ahead, love. Go ahead, Nutbuster.
Okay, so Spicy. When I was on the phone with you that day, didn't I already say he was a weirdo? Like he was even did that messy shit with calling her while we were talking. I already said he was a weirdo, so I don't know why the person in the comments was like, "Oh, you said he was." I did say he was weird. I did say that. I've been saying that, and it's just more so to say that people don't care what type of. I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
He called my mother like he had to check in with her.
Yes, I called him a weirdo. So yes, I did. Everything that I have set up here, I have said to her. And It's just like more so I feel like this is not the time.
So it ended there.
Okay, then. I guess
Okay,
that was
then. It's a weirdo.
that. He's a weirdo.
So who's
But
not Buster? Was not Buster a family member or somebody that? I think it
I
was
don't know.
somebody.
I played all that was there, so I didn't hear anything from her in the beginning. So
I think
I'm not.
she said something about an interview. So I think she was someone that interviewed a family member, that maybe the grandma or something or somebody. Yeah, but anyways, it could have been the grandma. I don't know. It was somebody she obviously interviewed. All right. I thought this was a great live, by the way. I thought it was a great live. I thought it was really I, I love it when family members um like I said, come up and talk and hear it from the horse's mouth, regardless. And so I appreciate Saneika, if you're listening to this ever still. Appreciate this, Melissa. Of course, like we're all drawn to cases, and this one was drawn to Melissa. I didn't know anything about it until Melissa presented it to me. And I again bless your family. Prayers to your family. Stay strong, and again eliminate the negativity out of your pathway. There, stay focused on Kei'mani and the beautiful life that she lived and her funeral services. And just like I said, speak to her. She's around you. So as for that, other than that, Melissa, it was a good live. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I was glad, even with all the technical difficulties in the beginning of
Start.
my video, not necessarily yours, because I kicked you out by mistake.
Not mine, because mine's going to start strangely. Well, mine's going to start about 2 minutes after she joined the live, because since you cooked me out. But yeah.
But prayers to all of Kei'mani's family, mother, grandmother, Saneika. I don't know why this girl pulled me in, and I instantly just.
Look at her. It's her aura. She's just
there's
beautiful.
just
Like the innocence of a child. But this is kind of like Sebastian, this big smile that just oozes, and it just hits you right in the freaking heart, and that's what's so devastating about this all right now. Sebastian, we don't know what happened to him, but Kei'mani, we know what happened to her, and like I said, they're beautiful little souls. They're innocents, right? They're still learning, they're still growing. All these things she'll never see anymore, and it's really hard. It is hard to watch, even as a like someone in true crime, but it's always hard to watch videos of children like Sebastian, even, or to watch like even the ones when you were showing them of Kei'mani ever dancing, in that video there. Those are so hard to watch because instantly my head goes to 1 minute they're here and then the next minute they're gone. So that's why Saneika kept saying, you know, uh hold your children, cherish them, love them, you know, because again, you never know. You never know what tomorrow brings. And honestly, I don't know what got into this POS of a father of Kei'mani's to even enter his mind to ever do something like this. I mean, he's a piece of shit and he'll pay for it. But Kei'mani was a beautiful girl that had so much time left to live. But I guess, like I said, I guess heaven, God wanted her back. And unfortunately, it's left the people here on earth devastated, of course, the ones that love her. That's what makes it so hard, is that this beautiful child was hurt by her own father and Ard, and let alone the other stuff. How sick and twisted is an individual, but obviously it's very. But that's the hardest part, and I think kind of like the Delphi murders, is what the child was going through. Kind of like your son too. Did he go through before his final moments? Those are always the hardest things that you don't even want your brain to even think about, because it's so devastating. And like you said, like for her to hear it on the news, and to hear about the, other stuff after she was dead, probably, I'm sure she was, it's just horrible to sit there and have to listen to that. And you haven't heard it before until you heard it on the news.
And I think for me, that's like one, besides, how heartbreaking the case is anyway, to hear that the family is finding out about this information from social media is, it just makes
Wrong.
it that much worse for me. It's like as if it's not bad enough, as if they're not hurting bad enough.
Yeah,
You are opening that wound up and just pouring salt in it. And
absolutely.
I feel so bad for them.
You
But
know, if
I
the
just
one thing,
want her family to know, do not play the what if game. I know you're going to have survivor's guilt. Most people have murdered children do, myself included, but you cannot let yourself go down that road. Remember who they were, share funny stories, share silly things
donate
they did,
to the funeral if you
do
can.
whatever you can. But
Mhm.
don't let your brain stay in that what if or coulda, woulda, shoulda space, because that's gone.
And unfortunately, um, no one's ever going to be able to remove that guilt, sadly. You know, like it's kind of like saying Kelsey too, right? On there. But at the end of the day, I do want to say this as well. Like, we're supposed to bring people up and lift them up, not keep trying to tear people down all the time, you know. So for all those people out there that just sit there and type away, no sensitivity levels whatsoever, can be so cruel and so mean, and then you sit there and hide behind your fucking Bibles and shit like that half the time. Just as that's for the Bible thumpers, but just in general for anybody, just become a better person of yourself. Just make yourself a better person each time. Because honestly, if that was to happen to them, that's what I always get. That's what I'm saying. You always have to look at it as if the shoe was on the other foot. You know, just think of how if this was happening to you, and people come at you saying you were this and you were that, and it's not true, of course, and this and that and this and that. But anyways, just become a better version of yourself. Work on it. I'm just speaking in general, by the way, to people that ever come across this video, and they're ones that leave nasty comments. Are you going to play this video here?
So this is the video that Saneika shared with us earlier. This one, you should be able to hear the sound. I'm not going to guarantee it, but fair warning, you might hear
Like
the
11
sound.
seconds, right?
Yeah. So you're going to see Kei'mani just dancing it up and having fun. And that's how we're going to end this live.
Appreciate you guys.
She was just having the time of her life doing that. Girl's got better moves than I got. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But thank you, Sunny, for joining me tonight.
Yes, and
Thank you, Saneika, for coming in. Thank you to everybody who's watched it or will watch it on replay. Just keep the family in your prayers, because they're gonna need it.
yeah,
They're going through hell.
yeah. Please do us a favor and please share this live. And if you're not subscribed to Melissa's channel, or the It's a Crime and Shame channel, please do. Again, just always try to keep it real and keep it honest. And I think it was good on you for talking with Saneika, and good on Saneika for. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm getting tired now. Still back and sleep here. But good on Saneika for coming on here and joining us as well. Um, Always want our space to be uh, like it's a home to people, to be honest. Never an attack, just a home. And thank you guys all for whoever is watching this, whoever watches this later. But just ask if you could just share it, please. share her story. And yeah. And so thank you guys. And thanks, Melissa. And I didn't fall asleep on you this time. I made it to the live.
I know, right? You didn't fall asleep on me. Yay! All
You guys,
right. Well, I'm going to play the outro and out we go.
one second, just one second, one second. So for anyone that doesn't know, is that Melissa since Delphi. I got to know her from Delphi not that long ago, actually. I feel like I've known her for years now. She's, uh, when you just meet someone like Charmaine and Alexa, like you just meet your cup of teas and stuff like that. But anyways, so what happened is that Melissa was there every time. Melissa wanted to do a live. Melissa's covering the case of Elizabeth and Lyric, and I had gotten up really early in the morning because I wanted to make this beautiful video for Melissa. For sorry, I can't remember the dad's name, but
Drew.
Drew. Thank you. And so anyway, so I went to sleep. Told my husband, husband, don't let me sleep longer than this time. Well, he was too busy gaming, totally forgot about it. I hit my alarm. I guess I don't even remember touching my alarm, whatever. Anyways, next thing you know, I fell asleep and I wake up and it's like, I don't even remember if it was an hour later. And I can't remember now. And I was like, oh my God. So I keep my promises. If I say I'm going to be at a place or meet you, unless I have a reason for not, I will let you know. But anyways, I ended up falling asleep on Melissa. And this the one thing she asked of me. And that was the first time. And I freaking let her down and I fell asleep. I mean, granted, it was because I was, like I said, I had made a video and I'd been up all night making this video. Well, hold on. I'd been up all night. And I think I ended up going, I don't know. I just remember I was up all night.
You were up all night making it, and then didn't you have to work that day? And it was after work? Or was it after work you made the video?
After work, so we had done a live, and I wasn't going to do a live. And so then I was doing it later, going to do it later. But what I always like things to be nice, and I don't like things just to be thrown together. And when I get a thought in my head, that thought turns into more thoughts and more thoughts. And then I wind up with something way more complicated than I intended it to be, but I wanted it to be special as well by the same token. And so when you make even a 5-minute video, when you have to gather everything and the different elements and stuff like that and tweak it and do it, it takes literally, can take hours and hours, and it did. And so anyways, like I said, I ended up falling asleep and then waking up, and I'm sure Melissa, I was like, Melissa, like, why didn't you call me? Like on my messenger, like, because I'm that person that, like, if you can't get a hold of me and I'm not answering you, like, try calling my messenger or something, man. Because, that no irritating sound I'll hear. That thing is pretty loud, that sound. But yeah, so anyway, for people that didn't know, one time that Melissa needed me the first time, so I was vowed that I would not fall asleep. Even though I'd been up all night, I would not fall asleep.
And if you guys think I let her live that down this time, you're wrong. I reminded her yesterday and this morning and an hour before, like 20 minutes before. And then I told her, you didn't fall asleep on me this time.
Melissa, to be honest with you, I never actually went to bed till I don't even know this 10, 11, something like that. When did you message me? When did you message me about your, huh?
I don't know. I messaged you right after our live last night, and then for some reason I ended up, well, I know why, but I ended up getting it at 3 o'clock this morning, and I messaged you then.
Yeah,
I message you all the time.
No, I'm talking about the message that you let me know that your cousin had passed away. Whenever you messaged me that, I was sleeping. And so I probably have had about
3 o'clock this afternoon.
Was it okay? Your time? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. So I only probably had about 3 or 4 hours sleep regardless. So, but I was like, I ain't letting Melissa down. I ain't falling asleep. I got my freaking 3 alarms going off. I don't care. Okay, don't get me wrong. I did hit the snooze a couple times, eh? I was like, nope, it's 4 o'clock. Still got time. 10 more minutes. Another 10 more minutes. Okay, fine. I'll get up now. I'm going to go have some pumpkin pie. It's been a pleasure. You have an amazing night. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. And what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Sunday. Okay. Yeah, right. I got to work. Okay. I'm like 8 to 4 tomorrow. I'm done with my 6 to 2 shifts. I'm now on 8 to 4, 8:30 to 4:30, 9:30 to 5:30, 9:30 to 5:30, 9:30 to 5:30 stuff. Yeah. I'm just going to say this now. They need to really put a freaking holiday between freaking Family Day in February to freaking this whole Easter thing. Because Easter lands on April 20th, okay? This year. Weed Day. Same day my husband landed here in 2015. Okay. But there's this extension because Easter can fall near the beginning. It can even fall into March. Okay. But this time it's like freaking like 2 months later. I'm just saying we need to have like a sunny like call it sunny holiday. I don't give a shit. But we need to have a holiday in the mix of this because it's too long before, the 3 days off. Anyway, just putting that out there. Sleep well. Thank you. All right.
I
I'm good
second that. All
now.
right. All right, guys, here we go. Play this outro, I think.
Mm.